Ignore the other stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we live, Justin?
Yes, we are live.
All right.
Do you have an external?
Do we have an external?
Meaning, can
We
you
don't
see-
know nothing about no
Yeah,
external.
we see us.
We see
That's what I'm
ourselves, though.
asking.
We see ourselves, yeah. Yeah.
And my eyes are tiny. I need to make them bigger.
Yeah. Hey, there's Andy Pieper.
Hey,
Andy?
all right.
Hey, everybody. So, hey, it is 1:30. Thanks for joining us. We are going to, I think the cat's already out of the bag now. I guess you can see that. We're here to announce the Dungeon Dwellers role-playing game. Yeah, something we've been talking about and working towards for a long time, actually. I'm with Joseph Wolf today. Joseph's our the Reaper head writer and the lead design on Dungeon Dwellers role-playing game. And you know what? We'll just kind of start. Hey, looky there. There's Gene Van Horn, 10-4 Bandit.
Hi, Gene.
And he said he wasn't going to watch.
Liar. Liar.
So let's just kind of start with. Well, let's start with you. People who may not know you, you've never really streamed with us before. You've done a lot of stuff for ReaperCon, but what's your background, real quick, if you can be succinct? What's your background in gaming? How did you discover role playing games, and how did it get you here?
Dynamite Magazine, 84. I was a 12-year-old kid. Here, elves and dwarves in a fantasy world, you get to play it instead of actually just reading about it. Mm-hmm. And then I became very obsessive about it. Made my mom a little nervous from time to time, but kept me out of trouble. And I just continue to do it until now.
Well, that was very succinct.
Well, you pay me by the word, so there it is.
So, how about tell us about your background as far as writing games and things like that? Who you've worked for, things that have been published, things like that.
I actually cut my teeth on writing for Deadlands, Weird West Classic, and I wrote the Trouble at Table Rock, and dinosaurs in the Old West, so cowboys and dinosaurs, and then it turned into Skullport for AD&D for second edition,
Mm-hmm.
and then. There's a lot of other companies, just like a lot of little freelance work from time to time. And then we crossed paths in like 96 when I called out of the blue. And then we just started messing around with, helping develop the world and stuff. And I've done some additional stuff on the side from time to time, but I mean, I always circle back around to Reaper.
So you've done a lot of articles for Casket Works.
Yeah.
You wrote The Savage North.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Savage
Brian
North.
Wind. Yeah, the two Brian Wind, or Brian Wind and the Savage Coast.
And the
book,
Savage
yeah.
Coast books. So, but yeah, you've had your hand in the direction of a lot of the story of Reaper for 20 some odd years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Do I got to go watch it sometime? That's
Well,
kind of cool.
so it's been, and of course, there have been many people who've actually with helped with the lore
Absolutely.
of Reaper and the Reaper's World of Adon. When we came out with Dark Heaven Apocalypse in 1997, I believe, 98, there were a lot of people, really helped do that. And so, like I said, a lot of people have had their hands in on the lore and the stories of Dark Heaven Legends. And then, but Joseph has stuck around, after all these years. Old DM22 says, Skullport, cool. That was a great book. That was a great supplement, yeah.
It was foundational to Brian Wind, man. It was, yeah, absolutely. That was a good time. Being able to play in Ed Greenwood and Stephen Shen's sandbox.
Speak into your
amazing.
mic.
Okay, I'll talk a little closer.
Yeah, do that. Do that. There you go.
I can move it closer. Here we go.
There you go.
Like an
Just-
ice cream cone.
There you go. Pretend it's an ice cream cone. It'll be right in there.
But basically, it was really a great experience being able to work on something that Stephen Shen and Ed Greenwood, the real, pillars in the old TSR days, and then being able to play with the stuff that they initially created and then develop it in new directions. It was a good time.
And so what happened in the last few years? In 2018, we sort of resurrected the Dungeon Dwellers range as a promotional line, as a free figure of the month back in 2018. But because when Ed and Al and Dave started the company, they acquired the rights to all the old heritage properties, and among those was Dungeon Dwellers, and that was that's how I discovered role playing and fantasy in general, was through Dungeon Dwellers. And so, Ed gave his blessing to go ahead and use the Dungeon Dwellers name, and so we did that, and then we started writing. We started working on where would Dungeon Dwellers fit in the world of Adon, right? And so we decided we were going to put it sort of in the heart
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In a country, a nation called Vestonia, which is a typical fantasy nation in by any stretch, right? So
Very different than Dreadmere.
for sure, for sure.
Very different. And the Savage Coast.
Yeah. And then when we did Bones 5, we sort of labeled some of the boxes as dungeon dweller boxes, the blood demons, the were-rats, and things like that. And so we thought, well, when we did the Dungeon Dwellers promotional range in 2018, the first adventure you wrote for that specifically was The Vanishing Blackguard.
Oh, right, with Sir Rictus.
Yes.
That's a rough adventure.
That's a great adventure.
That's rough.
By the way, that's available. So are the adventure with the were-rats and the adventure with the blood demons. Those are available for download right now on reaperlive.com. I don't have the link, but I'm sure we can get that up. But
and even though the mechanics differ slightly, it's very easy to adapt that to DDRPG. We probably will go back and update those eventually. We will do that. Because I'd love to see modern stats for Sir Rictus and stuff. Because it was a little OSR-y.
That's the good thing about a lot of these adventures that you've written. They're adaptable to 5e, 3e, whatever system you want to use.
Please do. If you love GURPS, if you love Pathfinder, grab those adventures and run them. I mean, please do.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. But when we did these, we thought, you know what? It would be really cool if we had our own system.
Yeah.
Right, our very own system.
Our own sandbox.
Yeah, to start testing these adventures out and using our own rules. A lot of these, when Joe and I met with Ed after ReaperCon last year, and we sat down with Ed and said we'd like to do this. We pitched Ed on it, and Ed was very amicable and open towards the idea. And so at that point, we just sort of took off with it. And Joe, basically, if people are going to read about Dungeon Dwellers or hear about Dungeon Dwellers role-playing game for the first time, what can they expect from DDRPG, and what should they not expect from DDRPG?
So if you love any edition of D&D, any edition, doesn't matter if it's OD&D or Modern 5e or Pathfinder, it's all D20 based. You're going to find a lot to love in DDRPG. So why wouldn't you just play 5e or whatever? Well, the big reason is that I, as a game master, struggled to get stats to work out right in Pathfinder because it's heavy, right? It's detailed, which is great, but it's super heavy. Whereas DDRPG, it cuts through a lot of it. You're not computing skill levels. You're not getting a calculator out to compute hundreds and hundreds of skill points. It's just much simpler. You don't have to remember what your proficiency bonus is because it's equal to your level. So we basically cut through a lot of the red tape that's fussy, and it gets between you and enjoying the game, and it's a breeze. It's absolutely a breeze to take any edition of content and then just slide it right in because it's the same ability scores, and it's just the scaling is a little different. So heroes have a lot of punch in DDRPG right off the bat.
Yeah, I think one of the design parameters that we wanted to do was make it very accessible, right? So whether you're brand new to role-playing or someone who's been doing this for a long time, I think specifically, I know that I wanted a system that when I sit down and read it, I want to be able to just sort of look at it and go, yeah, I got this, we can do this. And two of our examples were Ed and Dave.
Yep.
People who don't have a lot of time to, you throw the player's handbook or a large rule book in front of them, they're gonna be like, that's way too much. I don't want to read.
And that's just the player's book. If you actually want a good grasp of D&D, any edition, there was a lot of books you had to read.
Yeah, and this is going to be a lot more accessible, a lot more digestible, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be a couple pages in and go, I got it.
Yeah. So what else can people expect from DDRPG?
In terms of not necessarily releases, but just what's in it?
Yeah, the mechanics, the things like that.
You're rolling a d20 for everything. Everything's basically either an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check. There's no skills. We kind of buried the skill system, so there's just a way to evaluate character skill type stuff within concept. And so you can basically, the game master can very easily assess difficulties. Like you want to tear down a door, or if you want to convince somebody to do something, that's just an ability check. And then one player basically chooses to do it. You look at your resources, roll your d20, and add the goodies to it. And if it equals or exceeds, you succeed. There are critical successes. There's the option for setbacks, fumbles, basically. So there's a lot of granularity to it, but it's not going to bury players and game masters under details. So it just plays nice. And I've been running it pretty much for the last couple of years. Even though I was running 5th Ed, I was actually mostly running what our system was running DDRPG.
So
on the sly.
You mentioned if you've played any of your games at ReaperCon, you've kind of been playing a version of this.
Yeah,
already.
you have.
Yeah,
Totally.
You mentioned this being that we wanted this to be a bridge product.
It's a bridge product, absolutely. If you love first edition and second edition for certain things, but if you love some of the oomph of fifth edition, this is a great opportunity to kind of sort of fuse the best of all of those things. So it feels like an old school game, but it's powered by modern mechanics.
Okay, yeah. And so the plan is, what we're going to do today at 2 o'clock, we're going to give you guys a playtest session, right? Joe's going to run a game, and we've got some of our Star Reaper employees who are going to be playing in the game. And just you can watch the action and see how it goes. So, again, if you're familiar with modern role-playing, this will seem very, very familiar to you. And if you're not, it'll still be pretty easy to understand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're going to spin a good yarn. Inside of 5 minutes, they're going to be making decisions and rolling dice. We're not going to get caught up in a lot of shenanigans.
It'll be a lot of fun. Now, a lot of people are going to be asking, no, we're not bringing back Thaco, Lieutenant Floby.
Bless your heart, but no.
No, doing Thaco.
That was awesome.
So Tavares is DDRPG a print product? Not yet. So we're looking.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? We are going to be. We're targeting DDRPG to be released as a print product in spring of 2023. So not this year. However, if you come to ReaperCon this year, we are going to be running demos of DDRPG at ReaperCon, and we'll see what sort of things we'll have available.
Well, might be a little something.
Might be something there.
There might be something there. That's kind of cool.
That'd be a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
Is it true, Ron, by the way, that all of what we're doing, we're taking feedback for, and so everyone's gonna kind of feel like they help make this game for us?
Right. So we are going to have some feedback channels open on Discord, on our forums. We haven't gotten those set up yet, but hopefully by Friday we'll have those things ready. We're also working on a PDF for you guys to download, just a little primer that Joe's gotten and sort of boiled it down to its essence. Something has kind of been getting in the way of us finishing that and downloading that. A little thing. Don't know what that is, but that's sort of been taking up a lot of time. So unfortunately, we don't have anything to show you right now. We wanted to tell you guys, make the announcement, give you a demo, let you see what it's all about. And, probably in the Kickstarter updates, we'll be providing links for these things we've been talking about as far as the downloadable PDFs, the adventures that you can already... Now, while the adventures aren't statted for this, they're easily adaptable.
Oh, yeah. It's 5 minutes worth of work if you're a game master and you know any edition. So it's really easy.
It's possible that some of these legendary tales that we've been showing, they may have encounters or PDFs at some point. I know that...
There's a lot. We have been very busy the last year.
There's been a lot to do.
Yeah, we have a big stack of stuff already in the can waiting. So it's coming.
Yeah, so this is just a tease. I know it's a year away, but we're going to go ahead and give you guys a taste of it today. But this is not the only announcement, right? So this was our first, and this is something that Joe and I are very excited about. A lot of people around here are very excited about. We wanted to get it out, let the cat out of the bag. But at 4 o'clock, so we're going to run this demo from 2 to 4. But at 4 o'clock, we have another announcement. So this is not the only announcement. We have another announcement at 4 o'clock. We'll just have to wait and see. So tune in when the stream is over today at 4. Justin, I've already put the graphic in the locked folder for you. So at 4 o'clock, you can go ahead and display that. This doesn't do anything. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry, Izzy Lobo. Yeah, so it's Rax 333 says, so basically D20 with a theme setting. Not necessarily, right?
I think that's overly simplistic, but I mean, I guess if you get down to the core of it, it's a D20 powered game.
It's an OGL. It's an OGL game.
It definitely is an OGL powered game, but it's without like I said, it's statting like an age category 12 red dragon was just a nightmare. And so DDRPG cuts through the heart of it and says, look, the red dragon should be good at what red dragons should be good at. And so that's where its proficiency bonus comes in.
Clavicus, Ron is pregnant. No. And,
it's news to me.
Right through 3, we won't say he is.
Oh, my.
I'm telling you, unfortunately, the bad news is I am not. Sorry, not pregnant. Not pregnant. I may be fat, but I'm not pregnant.
Speaking of which, not related at all, but we're on a time crunch. We still have to get set up for this.
Okay.
9 minutes. So stay tuned. Don't forget. I know Joseph wanted me to remind you guys. Stay tuned. The last 5 minutes or so, we're going to kind of do a Q&A where I'll feed questions to Joseph. So as you have questions throughout the show, I'll pick 2 or 3 of them in the last 5 minutes of the session. He'll answer those questions. So thank you guys very much. We're going to flip to our intermission screen, and we'll see you guys here in a little bit.
Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. And this is where I say something really cool, right? Welcome, Reaper fans. This is Joseph Wolf, aka Reaper Wolf, and I am your game master for today. You have joined us in a very auspicious time. I am going to be running DDRPG for these extremely fine and very, very brave people. DDRPG is basically going to be Reaper's flagship role-playing game, and I am so excited to be bringing it to you guys today. It is a great honor to be able to do this, and I thank you all for joining us. We're all in for a heck of a ride. This is part 1 of the Ring of Truth, and the Ring of Truth is a really cool little adventure, which eventually, and not when I say eventually, I don't mean like months down the road, but fairly soon it'll be going live, and you guys will be able to download it gratis. In the meantime, let me just jump on my players here. I let my players introduce themselves. Starting over here on the left.
Hi, I'm Bryn. I'm going to be playing Snorley the Dwarf.
Nice. I'm Benny. I'm going to be playing Go Forth Fenigaster, the Halfling Rogue.
I am Daniel. I'm going to be playing Sister Garmon, the Human Cleric.
And I'm John. You guys know me. I'm playing Lindros Kurain.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. So, those of you guys that just joined us, here is the basic gist of the scenario. I will lay out what's basically happening in front of you. It's en medio res, which is a fancy way of saying it's in the middle of action. I want you guys to be making decisions and rolling dice. It'll be pretty obvious what you're going to have to do to get through this situation, and then I'll update you guys at the end of the encounter. Imagine, if you will, that you are on a small island, maybe 40 or 50 feet on a side, and it's covered with a loose scrub. It's mere inches above the water line of a very choppery, watery surface. Across the bay here is the city/town of Ottersmark, and behind you is the vast rotten stump bog, an area of ill repute on the very borderlands between the nation of Breon, which is kind of French, and Vestonia, which is your guys' home turf. The island is very broken and rocky. There's fractured remains of boats all around the edges of it because this place is said to have a very nasty lake monster around here. But that's not why you're here. You actually have with you a good-sized pair of barges that are heaped with all manner of goods. And the goods have a destination. You are the bagmen for a very nasty situation. And you are here. When you arrived, you would have found a corpse face down in the mucky water in the middle of the island. And in short order, corpses pulled themselves out of the rotten earth and assaulted you. Drowned, guts ripped open, various lake creatures falling out of open mouths and sores. The restless dead of our world are nothing if not dramatic. So, having said that, I'm going to draw your guys' island space real quick and then I'll have you guys narrate where you guys are, what's going on, etc. And then after I've placed the monsters. And then that way you guys literally get to paint yourselves into my scene. And don't worry, I can move you guys' miniatures about. And as I said before, you have a lot of narrative control over what happens in our games. So you can always suggest, hey, could you place a rock over here? I am totally cool with that.
Perfect.
No problem. We count everything in paces, which is a distance of 3 to 5 feet. And if you ever want to engage me in something, just ask me why we do that. This is the actual outermost area. This is actually the area that's above the water. And these are shallows.
Okay.
Which are still part of the island. It's just that you'll be standing in at least knee-deep water.
Great.
At least.
Good thing I'm knee-high.
For a human or an elf?
Yeah.
For a human.
Got it.
For an elf, for an elf, but for a halfling, it's up to
Got
pressure
it.
here. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So, although it looks like a flat, featureless surface, there's all kinds of elevations and rock and debris and puddles and murky water, etc. All of that can be drawn as we basically play. But it's the corpses, the shambling, bloated, half-disintegrated corpses that get your attention. And these things, for being soulless, there's a burning light of spite in their eyes. These things, even though they're mindless, are instinctually prone to hating living creatures because there's some element of them that still remembers being alive and being denied it. So here are our dead, rotten, and you guys now place yourselves on the map and just describe what's happening at that very moment as you place the figure.
I would be in the back of the group. As our fellow mage, I would be in the back.
So would you like be basically on like the one of the barges that was pulled here?
Yes.
Okay, so if I was to draw a couple barges, thusly,
Because is this muddy? Is this all muddy and
you
murky?
Absolutely.
Oh gosh,
Absolutely. And this is a short length of
Interesting.
chain and then another barge.
I don't want to get my nice clothes dirty. So
You know, I think that's not going to work out well for you.
Go ahead and throw your piggy. There we go. And don't worry, kids. We'll have these painted for you by tomorrow. Looking aghast and cringing, I guess. And,
I will also be cringing, but I'm going to
Okay.
be towards the front.
okay.
Oh, no.
That's okay. Daddy's got himself.
There you
Daddy's got a pointer.
Came prepared.
There you
Yes.
go. And as you'll see, squares are relative. I'm not super fussy about it. Go ahead. What are you up to?
Snorley is never one to back down from a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm in the front, ready to
I
kick
nominate
some butt.
Snorley for a Joss point.
That's a good
I
one.
second
Yeah,
that.
second
Yeah, I
hater.
agree.
Ooh, but the audience goes, but Joseph, what's a Joss point? It's these spiffy little tokens. Now, you can use anything. You can use a bead, you can use a quarter, whatever you like. But basically, it's narrative control. It's inspiration if you play other versions of D20. But basically, it's a bribe to the game master that says, hey, I want to do something awesome. And you get them by doing awesome things. Playing the character in front of you and entertaining the group earns you Joss points. Where would Snorley be?
She has jumped down from the barge. She is
Boom.
ready to
Shallows.
kick some,
And-
maybe a little bit in. I'm kind of short.
So, sprinting up to the nearest corpse?
Perfect.
Cool. This one's crawling out of the mud, slams against a nearby rock, looks at you, and the eye falls across its cheek and then slithers down and splashes on the ground. So I'll keep that
Go
in
forth is
mind.
definitely
And
disgusting. Undead are literally
Garmon
one
would
of the
actually
only
be
things I
between the
hate,
two,
so
as she is
this
a cleric of battle. She would make sure to benefit the try to help out the frontline.
Place
combat.
yourself in the scene and then take action. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
So where you at?
Between the barge.
'Kay.
Between the barge and
In the shallows?
Snorley.
Snorley. Yeah, I'm gonna be right there because I have some spells to try to help
You
out.
also have Rebuke Undead.
That's also true.
Not if I
helpful.
rebuke him.
Thank you guys
Yeah,
very
I
much.
know. Jeez.
Just to let you guys know, the Game Master approves of what you guys have done. I appreciate your guys' extra narrative oomph, and I put this in the middle of the table as a group Joss point, which means anybody can grab it at any time.
Nailing
That's
it.
lovely.
And what can you do with them, guys? Raise damage, re-roll bad dice rolls, convince me to bend things to your will. You have a lot of control with it. Having said that, let's proceed with action, but here's what I can do first. I love the fact that Snorley plunged forward. So let's say as that corpse is pulling himself out of the muck, and its lower part slips free and leaves most of it below ground. So as it comes out, all that flesh sloughs off of the skeleton.
Gross.
You immediately gain initiative. I
Nice.
can literally say, you've got surprise on this monster. Opening shot, boom, make your attack roll. So having said that, Snorley the Unworthy, make me an attack, please.
All right.
So what we're looking for is under your weapon tables, you have your attack bonus. Roll your d20, add your attack bonus, and tell me what you got.
Okay.
We don't use the word armor class, we use the word defense because monks don't wear armor.
Fair enough.
So I have a 14 with my Warhammer.
Nice. And are you wielding it one-handed or two? Because they are
Right
versatile.
now, I think I am wielding it one hand. I'm just going to slam it right under the
Which
chin
means
of
the
that
shield is
undead.
right here?
Yes.
Nice. You're playing it out. We now have a better image of what we're talking about. And as you run up, you, like Polo, slam. It clobbers the underside of its jaw. The jawbone flies off, and it splashes in the water like chumming the water. Roll the damage on that. D8 plus your strength bonus.
The
It's
diamond.
At a diamond.
yeah.
Diamond? Okay.
Yep, there you go.
This is where I'm going to have the most
Give it
trouble.
a little spin.
Ooh, not great. Ooh.
She rolled a 1, folks.
Also, if you want
Total
to roll,
damages?
if you want to roll into the play area, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm just
I'll
letting you know
do
we
that
can
in the future.
For future games, I'll print up a bunch of dice towers. I'll make sure you guys all get one.
Yeah.
Wait
they
till
look
you
like
wait till you see them.
So I think that's just a 4.
For a 4 point. But see, you got to remember what 4 points of damage means to a rotten, waterlogged corpse. That head comes completely off, and it takes the spinal column with it, and it flies through the air almost like a worm as it zips forward, and it splashes in the murky water. The corpse just goes completely stiff and then collapses on the ground with a wet splat.
Nice shot.
4.
Nice. Okay, having said that, now we go to initiatives. If you look next to your weapons, there's actually an initiative die. We don't use a d20 because it's too random. I use die types. In general, if you're small and you're using a small weapon, you get to basically use your normal, like a d8. But if you're using a larger weapon in one hand, it's awkward. You get to roll a d4. But if you're rolling a fast weapon or wielding a large weapon with 2 hands, you might be rolling a d12.
Got it.
Nice.
Exactly. So weapon size matters, especially with halflings.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
So
gonna go well.
you're not going to be, but it just means that medium-sized weapons are wielded two-handed. Otherwise, it's clumsy.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll those dice. And for my zombies, I've already got a number in mind. Already rolled.
Not great.
And guess what, guys? We'll be rolling this every round.
Oh.
Every round, because combat's uncertain.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
guys
you might
will
get
love
a
it.
boost of adrenaline and things like that.
Or you
Or
can get scared and just like not do
Yes.
anything.
exactly the uncertainty of it. Okay, we'll start off with a 12, 9, 8,
12. Or I got a 10, sorry.
9, 10. Got it.
Got it.
No
Sorry.
problem. That's quite all right, dude. We're all learning here. So you got a burst of speed. Do something awesome.
Is there any debris that we
Yes.
can see on the thing, like any boulders
You
or
bet.
rocks or anything like
Absolutely.
that? Anything close to the barge?
Absolutely.
Okay. If there's a big enough boulder, I would like to leap off of the barge and land on the boulder if I
No
can.
problem.
I'm trying not to touch the
And
bog.
for the actual meat of your action for the round,
I will cast Silent Image, and I will try to put it in the middle of all of the undead, rotten undead, as best I
and
can
the
see.
image is
It's the zombie that Snorley just hit. So I want to see if he can kind of distract them or he just put him there and see if he can try to aid us in tripping or grabbing or slowing them down as they run towards us.
Now we're getting to the heart of what you really want to happen. You send an illusionary zombie at one of the other zombies to engage it.
Yes.
Okay, hoping that it has some sort of primitive self. Okay, so pick.
I think they're not very smart at this
So
point.
assume the closest one in
Yes.
short order.
We'll go with that one.
Cool. I'm gonna make a quick. And what is my saving? And what is my saving throw versus this, my friend? Should be around a 16.
16.
Gotcha. That zombie turns to the illusionary zombie. This zombie actually. Now I just want to throw this out at you. Providing a nice, fleshy, yummy-looking living being would probably have been more effective.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is that a zombie suddenly charges another one, tries to tackle it. This zombie sees it coming, doesn't quite take into what's going on, and you see it actually clumsily will burn its turn, swinging with wide arms, trying to knock
Nice.
it down.
Nice.
So it'll engage that one, no problem.
Hey, this one less for us.
And that was on your 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Wow, 5, 4, 3.
3.
3.
Dang, Daniel, what'd you roll?
One.
Oh,
Hey, I'm a cleric. I'm making sure that everyone's okay
yeah,
before
everybody
anything
gets to go
else.
first.
Slow and steady. I
Exactly.
like it. 3, my dear.
Yes.
For Angram Silverhelm.
I will continue with my assault with my one-handed warhammer
Towards the painted one, I assume?
Sure.
Fair enough. How about, let's assume that this is like a little low spot, and as you sprint towards, you run around the edge of it. You guys will look very quickly at your guys' paces on the second page. It actually lists your guys' movement rates. Now, you're going to find that dwarves are really slow. I
Yes.
kind of reversed that. But you look at what halflings have got. Halflings are actually a little faster.
Got it.
And elves are the fastest of all.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, 15 movement. So yes, and that's paces. You can always do a double run as well, as long as the terrain isn't too rough. But like I said, you guys are going to be able to have a lot of control over this. So as you sprint towards this zombie, what happens? What do you do?
Well, Snorley is pretty short, and I am assuming that these undead are about the height of a human.
These all look like common villagers, although they have the look like stevedores. And they're dressed all in dark clothes. You're looking at a smuggling operation that went wrong.
very wrong.
Good.
Very wrong.
Just desserts.
Stem to stern wrong.
Ew.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Alright.
you?
Well, Snorley's going to pick up her warhammer and jump up, trying to slam the bottom of the jaw, knock that zombie backwards.
Nice. Very cool. Now, would this be one-handed or two-handed? You can literally disarm your shield as long as you're not engaged, and then choke up.
I think I'm still gonna do one-handed. try
You
to
want the
cut
shield.
them.
You want the shield. Okay, give me your attack. Same thing as before.
It's gonna get
D20.
messy without the shield.
Yes, it will. That looks like a 9 from here,
Plus 6, so
which is a
15.
total of 15.
Nice.
There's a shattering and a squishing of rotten, rancid flesh, and you roll the damage of 1d8 plus strength bonus.
Not doing too great with that. 5.
5 points. These things are wet and sloppy. Needless to say, it folds around your weapon and collapses on the ground as every bone turns to jelly.
Ew.
Disgusting.
You have to plant your foot and extract the hammer.
At least I wasn't standing too close under
That was
it.
on, that was on 3, on 2, on 1.
Hey-o, two.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Okay, at this point, I'm fairly disgusted, but I'm gonna go towards the next available zombie and go for the shins, if there's any.
Well, I would assume that you want to dash over here.
Yeah, if
and
he's
then
still
ham,
alive.
and then hamstring this monster.
Yeah, I want to cut him down to size.
Give me your roll.
All right. Oh, whoop, wrong one.
D20 is your friend.
Yep, there it is. All right, plus strength.
Plus your attack bonus for the weapon. You're fighting
Oh, okay,
with
plus
a short sword, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and you're slashing with it.
Okay, so 19.
19. Well, you described that you want to cut it down to size as you clobber it from behind both knees, adding an extra d6 for damage as well for the sneak attack. Go ahead and, I think it's d6 plus your dex bonus plus another d6.
Yes. Ooh, I need another d6.
Here.
Borrow it from a friend.
Yep.
We'll try to get you guys some extra dice next
There
time.
we go.
Although these look
I-
like they were
do-
requisitioned from the
Leave these
company
over
stores.
Can we bring our own?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as they're not metal and as long as they're not the like, meteorite or whatever.
Okay, no problem.
Standard
Plus
plastic, please.
Dex, I think.
Plus dex?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, dex?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Although the actual damage rating is right there on the character sheet. It's fully statted out.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, down.
Bottom.
God, there's
Back,
so many
whichever
things.
one you're
Oh,
doing.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She goes, nice. I like
all right,
that.
All right. So that'll be a 8 plus 3, 11.
Nice. From behind both of its knees, ligament, tendon, bone pops, slashes. The creature literally hits the ground, and its lower feet are still just sitting there on the ground where it was a moment ago. It looks up at you as it just collapses and dies
I
again.
feign throwing up. I like keep it kind of in, but
You're
I'm
you're
definitely
like,
gagging. Yeah, no, it's bad. Yep.
Gotcha.
I am uncomfortable.
Gotcha. That was on 2, on 1.
Okay, so seeing that one of them is one of the zombies is distracted by an illusion, can I take advantage of that and cast Sacred Flame since it's using its turn to try to attack that illusion? It wouldn't recognize to try and get out of the way of the Sacred Flame.
You will absolutely be able to claim some benefits from it being distracted. Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
with this, it will need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, I believe this is a touch-based attack, correct?
Sacred Flame is 60 feet, I believe.
Okay. Well, double check.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah. Excuse us, folks. He has to work off of the grimoire that I gave him
Yeah.
earlier. So, but it is
Supplementary
alphabetical.
material.
Yeah.
This is all new.
Okay, so if it is touch, then I might change.
'Cause I thought Sacred Flame was touch, but I could be wrong. Not using a cleric in this adventure.
Well,
Because I can crack it open if I have to.
you might have to because I don't have any cantrips. I only have first.
Oh, I didn't put the cantrips in there? Well, that's just silly on my part. I do apologize. That's okay. I've got the giant book right here.
The big book.
The big
The
book.
big boy book.
It is. Well, don't tell anybody, but it's a big book. Okay. Okay, Sacred Flame. Thank you very much. And it is so many spells.
Yes.
Oh, okay. 60 feet's 5 by me, which means it's 20 paces. So no problem at all. I get a dex save to avoid the worst of it.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise. Zombie's not particularly good at dex. There's a roaring fire, basically, that kind of sort of erupts it, and as it turns to look at you, it sees the flames coming, and you see the flames are actually in its rotten, empty eye sockets. And the damage is?
I believe a D8.
Go
because
for it. This works for me.
If you want to double check just in case, I believe it's a D8.
I can take a D8. I'm fine with it.
That is 1.
The unholy flame does occupy the creature, and it roars around inside of it. It gets badly scorched in the process, but it doesn't go down yet. It just looks medium rare, for lack of a better term. Now, here's what you could do. You could spend a Joss point to change that damage roll.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Well, it's not a board game. And there's no rewards for who has Joss points at the end.
Yeah, I know. At the moment, I mean, if I was casting an actual spell, absolutely. But that's cantrip. These are definitely, if I was casting a spell,
Okay.
that definitely sounds like a good
The
idea.
reason why I mention that, folks, is that a lot of times there's this board game mentality, and the thing is that you get Joss points for doing awesome stuff. So don't be afraid to spend it when something matters. And if this doesn't matter to you,
You know
right now,
what?
that's cool.
Actually, since this is, I will do.
See, there you
There
go.
you go.
That's referred to as Game Master goading, folks. No, it maximizes the damage.
Okay, so 8 points.
Boom. So about that description, as you rewrite history, the flame that struck it didn't cause much damage, but it left a little hole which smolders, and it quickly gains power as it hits the fat, the rotten fat, and then it spreads like kerosene, and the thing burns from within, and it collapses an empty, rotten, fleshy sack.
Nice.
Smell that
We like a
rottenness.
flesh sack.
That's well done now. Definitely well done.
Good.
Okay.
That has to go back to the kitchen.
That was the end of the round. The zombies don't get a turn because of the fact that you guys all basically got a surprise round out of this. The zombies finish pulling themselves out of the rotten earth, see you guys, and then the first one will turn, arm barely hanging on from a cutlass cut, and it takes its first step towards you guys, and then you guys re-roll your initiatives.
Okay. Okay.
You'll see the zombies rolling a d4 for their initiatives this turn.
Better.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a good roll though. Anyone got the 12? 11? 10? 9?
9.
Damn, John's on fire today.
For real.
Damn, John.
So-
Take it easy on me, buddy.
I take my, I'm just counting this paces. I take my sleeve and I kind of cover my nose. and
It doesn't help, but it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
and I take a jewel out of my pocket that I made myself. And I kind of I close my eyes and I cast magic missile at the farthest zombie.
Ooh,
40
summoning-
paces, I believe, is. the
You
distance.
have plenty. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
And
You have 3 magic missiles, each causing d4 plus 1 point of damage.
yeah, all 3 at the last zombie. I
Then
think.
roll your 3d4, my friend. Borrow dice if you need to.
4,
Okay.
4, 4.
You might
Ladies
John.
and gentlemen, if you're
you
curious,
cheating?
this is what On Fire looks
These
like.
are
in
pizza
case you guys
dungeon
are
dice. You can get
curious.
at reapermini.com.
Oh, there- why does it say cheater on it? What does that mean? So that looks like a grand speaking total of 3d4 plus 3
It's
is
nothing but 4s.
4, 8, 12, 15.
15 points of damage. That is overkill. What happens? Describe it to me.
So it's almost in line with my my image, and so it's going to pass right through my image. And as it does, it's kind of like a prism, when all these bright colors come from my
Oh,
from
that's
my
beautiful, John.
Pink Floyd.
from my
Yeah.
image, and as soon as it hits it, it just kind of evaporates. Like the Thanos snap. It kind of
Nice.
kind of
Oh.
fades
You actually atomized it with force.
Yeah.
Sexy. I
with
like
prism
it.
with prism
Nice.
magic.
Yeah.
Very nice. Leaving the last zombie, which is completely undeterred by the annihilation of its companions. That was on 9, 8, 7.
Right here, 8.
8. Cleric. You've got a minute.
I'm going to move
Okay.
move ahead a little bit to ensure that I
Tell me
have
where.
a little inward. I want to make sure, and to the left, other way. Sorry,
Other
there we go. And I'm going to one of them use another sacred flame. So
Fair enough.
Another dexterity saving throw.
No problem. No problem at all. I assume the closest one?
Yes, please.
You got it. That severed limb, she'll turn, look at you, and then you blast her with the sacred flame.
Max damage 8.
Nice.
Nice. The arm goes spinning off as she is consumed. It hits the ground and crawls slowly away. A ring on the middle finger looking for its husband.
I'm like rotten flesh in the morning.
Oh, really not.
Proceeding
to
downwards.
stand
That was on
out.
initiative 6?
I was gonna say 8.
8.
7.
I also got an 8.
8?
Yep.
Now here's the sort what happens during a tie?
Yeah.
The heroes decide
Got
who
it.
goes. If there's a tie with a bad guy, guess what happens? I'm not the hero of the story. You are. You break the tie.
Ooh, that's
Hey.
nice.
Little something from me to you. That's why we refer to you guys as heroes, not just player characters.
Okay, so what do we have alive? A hand?
Well, that's the thing here, right? The hand crawls away, but you know what? I have an aching suspicion It won't do much.
Okay.
Unless you find it and smack it the other
I
one
was
with
gonna
it.
say, yeah. I mean, it's a hand. What's the worst that can happen? Evil Dead. That'd be fine.
Is that
Yeah,
the
you guys
one?
are not quite at the high enough level to be dealing with deadites. So,
Yeah.
So that leaves just the one last enemy.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna rush him and short sword him. Yeah.
Fair enough. The distance being what it is you dash across. This will have to be a charge to close
That's
up.
fine. Yeah,
Okay,
I can,
no
I can
problem.
move like 18 paces, so we're
Well, when you sprint, when you
Yes.
dash, you absolutely can. Absolutely.
all right.
Go for it. Give me your attack. And since this is a charge, and there's no reason not to, you get a +2 on your roll.
Nice.
You got to hit me first.
Oh, right. You're right.
Who knows what that is?
Ooh.
That
That
was
was a
interfered with the
three.
note cards. Go ahead and give me the note
Sure.
cards, and you re-roll that.
Aw,
Yeah,
thank
that look kind of
Interference.
That was genuinely off center. So we'll,
Yeah.
I was like, it was not good, so.
all the better.
Okay, that's slightly better.
Yeah.
That's slightly,
Don't forget
okay.
you get to use your. Don't forget your full attack bonus though.
Yeah, okay, so 11 total.
+2.
Plus 2? Oh, shit, yeah, you're right. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
13.
Now you know why you charged, right?
See? Yeah, there we go.
You
I'm
didn't
in.
describe what you're doing, so I just imagine since you're basically just sprinting across the way, you dash upwards, you're aerial, and then the short sword like this.
Just plunges into him, yeah.
Insert here. Roll the damage.
All right. Now we roll the d6.
Yep.
Hey,
That's
better.
Let's do a 6.
Nice. 6 points. Weapon disappears into its guts. Unfortunately, so do your arms up to the elbows.
Oh, no! I might actually puke this time.
The zombie takes 2 steps looking for you, and you're just kind of sticking out of it. And then as you finish the job, it just separates and it splats on the ground. And the legs are still standing upright, and you're just kind of hanging on them
Yeah, I'm gonna puke.
like a centaur.
I'm gonna go ahead and puke now.
So, flash forward to minutes later.
I
And
cast
our-
prestidigitation on everybody to clean them up.
Oh, what a
That's
nice
so
guy.
nice.
So the muck is like sloughing off of you as it's replaced by clean clothing and whatnot. Can't do much for the smell, but you do what you can.
Every few feet we have to do
So here's
this.
what's actually going on, my dear friends. I was quite clear and I said that you guys are the bagmen. You're here to deliver some goods as a ransom. A prominent family with not one pot to pee in has basically traded their son's freedom through marriage with a family upriver in a large city called Barrowgate. And Barrowgate's a pretty cool town.
Yes.
It's almost like someone wrote a book on it. Wouldn't it be cool if that saw print someday? Anyways, but basically they traded his freedom for it, and the family's desperate. And the family actually has an heirloom, and they gave it to him to give to the daughter as a dowry. And they sent him on his way, and a group of pirates overtook him, and they ransomed him. And to prove they were serious about it, they bit his thumb off and then nailed it to the plank along with their demands.
Oh my god.
Ooh, wow.
They didn't have knives?
Oh no, the goblins used their teeth.
I mean, it makes sense. I
How
mean,
barbaric.
So this particular group of goblins have been pulling a pretty clever scam. They've stolen a couple barges, they load them with a bunch of crud to make them look like floating islands. Then in the dead of the night, they then just kind of quietly row up against other barges or passing craft. They pounce, they take goodies, and they've recently started taking captives.
Good for them.
Yeah,
You know,
that's pretty, That's pretty
Entrepreneurs.
smart.
You
Yeah.
know, I got to admit, these blood bite goblins, they kind of have their poop together, and I kind of appreciate that. And I'm glad you do too. However, you guys do have to slaughter them to the last if you get an opportunity.
Yep.
So,
A job's a job.
as the bagmen, you have 2 barges that are full of goods, and also a guide who this entire time will appear from underneath a tarp. To say that this fellow is the definition of a rat bastard is an offense to calling anybody else a rat bastard ever again. He has a pronounced overbite. He is continuously sickly looking. He has an Adam's apple that sticks out like this. Very skinny. He looks like a skeleton if a skeleton was anorexic. If you can imagine that.
Okay.
He is not a good-looking fellow at all. And his name is Turs, Hemab Turs.
Hemab.
And Hemab, H-E-M-A-B, Turs, T-U-R-R-S. There's a section on your character sheets that might even say notes. If you need pieces of paper, I have actual scratch paper with me if you need some. And I happily, please use it because it gives me an excuse to go to the office supply store.
Pick you up on that.
You got it. No problem. Take as much paper as you like. Help yourself. The family hired him to basically get you guys here because he knows Lake Strong.
Of course he does.
But this entire time over here, he would have been mumbling to himself. He would have been grumbling. He would have been working on his fishing tackle and whatnot. And when you guys pulled alongside and you guys saw the first of the corpses rise, he disappeared underneath one of the tarps, and he only just now reappeared.
What a rat bastard.
What a coward.
So, having said that, what's supposed to happen is that sometime during the nightfall, the goblins will row out. You guys will leave the goods, wink, wink, and tomorrow morning, theoretically, the Streeton heir will be here. That's the theory. Who raise your hands if you think the goblins are going to follow through with the plan?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I spit.
Yeah. So you guys have control over how you want this to work out. You guys, with this situation and a lot of narrative control, you guys can plan the double cross. But don't take too long to do it. We don't want to bore our audience. But there's a lot of resources available to you, and I want you guys to be successful. So what happens? What would be cool?
Well, I know that I will notify my party that when combat starts, know that I'll give us all a little buff for combat.
That would be nice, yeah.
But
Yeah.
besides that, I'm not really a tactician. I'm more of trying to help other people out and storm into battle.
Well, you are also a follower of Agnir, and Agnir is not just the god of warfare in terms of slaughter. We actually have multiple gods of war. The god is actually more like an Athena god.
Okay.
And is actually like a sophisticated.
All right.
Although if you're from a barbarian people, it might be like the woad covered, tar
Okay.
on the head, on fire, charging your enemies kind of god. But no, Agnir tends to be a more sophisticated. So if you do have tactical ideas, dude, let me know what you need.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we let Turs go out and do the talking. We hide in the barges, and then we
Yeah.
pounce on him.
We'll
That-
take his
that-
technique of hiding underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will do that. And
That's actually a good idea.
Oh, okay. So the goblins had said nothing before about leaving, about having anyone on the island, right?
Yeah.
So that might be a little suspicious, but I'm all for you guys rat bastarding the rat bastard.
I mean,
right.
listen, he deserves it.
Kinda.
And
Now,
we do need a point of communication with the goblins to know if they're going to bring back this heir, right?
so now on the role playing. Sorry, I will answer your question. Absolutely, you are. The whole point was it relies upon faith. Do you have faith in goblins to follow through? They bit.
Absolutely not.
No, I am a racist halfling. I
Oh,
think the
well,
goblins
there,
are
yeah.
gonna-
It'd be nice to think of them as nice, but biting off the thumb pretty much destroyed their credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So, but what you guys, that works absolutely. And the whole point is that when they roll up, you guys will be hidden. You guys can basically ambush them and go from there.
That's the idea.
Okay, no
I guess
problem.
Turs can stay in the boat.
Now, you guys have a lot of control over how you guys get information. A lot of RPGs are built kind of sort of like the radial, where basically when you walk up to the NPC, a radial appears and you kind of thread your way through the
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
In my games, you can interact with any little piece of the screen that you want to play with. Like, so if you want to interact with him and try to get information on him, that's fine. If you want to ignore that, that's also fine, and we can move right on towards the ambush.
Actually, for the ambush should we be inside the barge or should we be on the island if there's any are there any broken parts of other barges that would be here?
There can be.
Okay, I was thinking.
I mentioned all of
Yeah,
them.
I was thinking is
You guys can make readouts. You guys can make hunting little readouts, like for duck hunters.
Yeah.
Lines. They're
yeah,
called
I
lines.
was gonna say, what if we instead of being in the barge because we're all in one place and we have to storm out of there? What if we can actually, do what the zombies did? Pretty much
Kinda
spread out a little bit. Wait until you get on, and we're on the ground underneath stuff that we can quickly
Ooh,
grab.
that'd be pretty
Absolutely.
good.
Because-
there's wrecks of
Yeah.
wreckage all over the place.
What's the weather?
Something
What's the
that
weather
looks
look like?
I mentioned it was overcast and the sky was leaden and the water's a little choppy.
Okay.
Which means it's a little rainy, a little wet. This time of year, it's not quite fall, so it's right at that point where it starts to get a little nippy.
And when is the meeting time? Nighttime?
Well, there's no meeting.
Oh,
What's
okay.
actually supposed to happen is you're supposed to just leave the barges and
Got it.
get out of here.
Get out of
Yeah, I would say it
There's
was
a couple of small craft also.
Are there any trees around?
boom, just like that. I can put a couple small
All right.
trees around. Literally whatever you guys need for cover, you guys can just do it.
Okay, I might paint myself in some mud like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Whoa,
Just
you're
kinda
going
against
full on
the tree.
Predator.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. No,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to if I can move some stuff around and make sure.
Yeah,
some
no,
of the,
you're just doing it, man.
So I'm going to move some of the broken barges, make it where I can quickly move out as quickly as I can and hide underneath.
You
there.
make a blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. The materials are there.
yeah.
The time is available. You can just do it.
Also, as soon as we see the goblins approaching, if we can, I would like to cast fog cloud, probably to kind of obscure
That would fit.
Yeah.
whoever is around me or where we're hiding.
If there's any just to help them out, I would even use guidance to help out anyone for type of
Here's what I
narrative-
generally do about extended rolls.
narratively. That's what I would be doing.
That's cool, but here's what I do with cantrips with guidance, because it's kind of a weird thing where it's like I'm making a pot. When do you use guidance when somebody's making a pot?
Yeah, yeah.
So what happens is that you're actually further ahead just by saying I aid them in
Okay.
their whatever they're doing, and so just your physical assist cuts down on time and resource use and stuff.
Okay, so yeah,
You pray to your god to help me make my my fog thick.
With the since you were saying that about kind of like Athena, I help definitely with the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger. It
Okay.
would be kind of that type of tactic.
I love the idea that you're walking amongst all these preparations and like, hey, you might want to go another couple inches deeper on that, you know, or you know, this mud over here is a little thinner. Go ahead. I like that you kind of got the general patent thing going on. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty
Cool.
thin, so I'll find a thick tree to hide behind.
Yeah, I'm kind of crouching in some roots.
You
that might
Scooby-Doo
be
it?
I'm not
exposed.
mudding myself.
decide Scooby.
With the available time and resources you guys have got, this is no problem at all. You guys make the preparations. May I make one suggestion?
Yep.
Pull the barges up on land.
Yeah.
You guys as a group have no problem pulling hundreds upon hundreds of pounds onto dry land.
Okay.
The goblins won't be so easy. They'll have to struggle, and while they're trying to do it, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
if you can disadvantage your enemy while advantaging yourself, that's a twofer.
yep.
Twofer. That's what we call those.
Yep, a twofer.
It's in the book.
So, having said that, I approve. I absolutely say, guys, well done. Don't be afraid to use these bad boys as they come up.
You got
and
it.
as the suns begin to set.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
So this is one of the things that is controversial, but it's always been there since apocalypse days. We have one sun that's bright and luminescent, and we have a little dying black, almost like a little blood-like drop of sun. And that goddess was murdered by the god of betrayal. And as the sun goes out, her influence in the world goes out.
Sad.
So, yes, and so pervasive was that betrayal, her name was stricken from the world, even from the lips of her followers.
Oh wow.
Yo.
God of betrayal was thorough.
Damn.
Okay, so having said that, you guys have made your preparations. You have dragged the barges on board, and now begins the waiting time. And Turs, this entire time, will sit and growl. And he says we dropped this off. We shouldn't be sticking around. We should just drop the payload, and we should be on our way. I don't
You
know.
can swim back.
I was
Yeah, if
you
you
beat
wanna
me to the
stay.
punch.
He's like, this is intolerable. I can't believe.
I would even cast a spell to help you get out of here if you want that.
Well, that's
He's just
nice of
growling to himself. Now, would somebody like to give me a roll? You've been looking at this guy for enough time. You might get a radial appears for a moment, if you will, giving you an opportunity to interact and maybe get a little something extra and open up some avenues. Who would find your moment? Tell me what's happening, and then just roll your d20 as a charisma check.
I will. Would this be a time when I could use guidance? And the
It's a little hard to justify it.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
no
it's a
problem,
little
no
hard to-
problem.
But here's what's happening though: is that if you're in priest mode, right?
Yep.
And you're looking to establish trust, right? Is that in line with what a priest might do?
Well, what I was doing is
No. The answer is yes or no.
oh yes,
In which case, you would get to use your full proficiency bonus, which is your level. So charisma mod plus your level plus a d20 roll. So now you tell me how you would get his trust, real quick, like, and then roll your dice and see what happens.
I throughout the time I would be helping him. I would be asked like saying, "Is there anything I could actually help him feel more comfortable?"
You're trying to gain his confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because this guy probably doesn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Well, right?
If he's wanting to,
He's mad.
Yeah, if he's afraid of something, I'm willing to help him try to hide.
Give me a d20 roll and add 1 to it for being awesome.
All right, so
Proficiency bonus, which is
that
your
is 23.
level. Nice.
Beautiful.
Now, if I was to set a difficulty of 17, which would be very high, you still have a ton of cream. In general, if you roll 5 or more over, you get a little extra something out of it. So I'm going to basically answer 2 questions from you right off the bat. Just any 2 questions, and they can be as off the wall or as penetrating as you want them to be, and I have to answer them honestly.
Okay, first question is, does he seem to be like he's wanting to have this easy, very easy for the goblins to take? This.
Oh, yes. In fact, there's another piece of information that'll just drop in your lap. He has been taken prisoner, according to what you've heard, he's been taken prisoner 3 times, and each time released.
So he's scared of the goblins.
I don't know, dude. I think that's cahoots.
Which is very suspicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
cahoots.
Yeah, the second question is...
And go deeper, man. You can ask
Yeah.
anything you want
Well,
on these questions because they represent your intuition. And
the
catching them-
second
his
question, does he
childhood
look
fears.
like he might have some goblin blood in it?
No, but birds of a feather.
So...
Okay.
So,
What, his cousin is a goblin? Or?
well, more like if you were captured and you were in a position where you could maybe talk your way out of harm, can you see Turs being the sort that would actually sign on to some sort of an enterprise of this nature?
Oh, I see.
No, he's very trustworthy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He led us here.
So,
incredibly
as a group, you guys all arrive at a very interesting conclusion as Turs is tying knots and looking over the cargo and grumbling about his sore back from dragging this on board. And you guys arrive at a very interesting conclusion.
Definitely talking about that. If you guys want to talk about it, I will be part, like used to the Athena type of deity. I will go and double check those knots tying on because...
You don't trust him.
Oh, I'm gonna be playing it off like I'm trying to help him out, but yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Well, your intention was to get his trust, and a combination of things he would have said over that period, because I mean, we could literally spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes role-playing it out.
Yeah.
And I would love to, but we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But I would rather just give you the radial and say, nope, you're entitled to that information, and you're also entitled to
Nice.
a second group Joss point. Don't be afraid to use those. So what happens now? I'm happy to advance this along, have the goblins show up, and have you guys get your day in the dark. I mean the sun. So you guys
Do
ready?
we
Yes.
kill Tours?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Can we knock him out? Can we knock him out and take him to the proper authorities?
Yes, I agree. I'm a good-natured
Interesting.
person, so I'm going to go
I'm
with
pretty
that.
neutral on this, but I think that we might get a bigger reward if we bring him in, because this sounds like it's been going on for a long time.
He's 3 separate times he was said, so I would say yes. I will
Take him back to Barrowgate. And,
I get my Warhammer
Otter's
out.
Mark.
no, actually,
Coming up behind
Barrowgate's the cooler town. Otter's Mark
okay,
is
so
across the way.
I want to tie him up and gag him, but if he looks like he wants to run, I'm gonna be straightforward, saying don't run. We're gonna keep you safe, but I'm gonna tie him up, keep him quiet. If he tries running, I'm gonna try to cast a spell on him.
So my question to you guys is, how do you wish to incapacitate him? Because are you just going to keep him busy and let someone sneak up behind you? That's a little iffy for a good god of war / battle, etc.
Oh no, I'm straight up telling him.
But so you're basically just like, this is what's happening.
Yeah, I'm telling him straight up. This is what.
Nice. He sits down on a rock. His face clouds over, begins to gently rain, and it kind of splashes against his little buckle hat. And he just looks down in the mud that's caking his boots. He says, I don't know what I was thinking. I was a man who just gave in to his weakness. I saw an opportunity. I had no idea it would go this far. I thought it would just be a few quick shekels, and I'd be out. But the goblins won't let me out.
Well, in that case,
You're in his confidence at this point.
Which-
he's putting it out there.
yep. And I'll say there's
Give me a very quick wisdom check with proficiency bonus. Just
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, I'm not good at wisdom. Dang.
But
okay, so
plus
just
your
a-
level is 3.
Yeah, so just a plus. Okay, so 22. 22.
So Turs is trying to stand on the plinth holding his Oscar. And he's trying to give the performance of his life, and you just you literally just see it all played out, and you're like, I bet he's going to play a broken home, and he's got a sick mother, and then literally, you're not even hearing the words, but they're coming out, and it's basically her voice as she's mumbling into it. Now he'll say that he's got a sick mother. There it is, and he grew up on the streets. Yep.
Been there, done that.
And as you just basically peel the grape, and he plays it fairly convincingly, but you ain't having it. So you can share that information however you'd like.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I want this one.
have a
just
quick
kinda like,
confab?
yeah, no, this is definitely.
I get my
de-
Warhammer back
Yeah,
out.
de-
This is crap.
definitely. I want to keep it, trying to keep that friendship, but at the same time, making sure that the party keeps an eye on it. I'm trying to keep a distraction.
He then will finish up with his whole sick family and a life of
Here come the crocodile
misspent
tears.
youth, etc. He says, but is it too much to ask for one opportunity to redeem oneself?
Yes.
100% yes.
He looks at you imploringly, like maybe you will be a little more easily manipulated, but he's not even going to. I'm not even going to roll the dice for it.
Yeah, I'm.
Knock him out.
I bring up my fist. I slam it against the back of his head, right at the base of his neck.
So, blammo. Go ahead and roll for it. I'm going to make a quick test here just to kind of sort of see if he sees you coming. And I'm there with my Oscar. I'm so focused on getting my win.
Okay, so you might get this.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm looking at him.
Total of?
As a proficient bar fighter,
Interesting.
I think I have experience.
Well, of course you will get to use your proficiency bonus for this.
Well, perfect.
And because you are from behind, and he is seriously distracted by the best friend, I can give you a full +4 for this roll.
Perfect, because that'll get me a 13.
Well, against a guy only wearing leather armor who's sitting down on a rock facing in the other direction, he just goes, and his eyes roll back into his head, and then he just slumps forward, and you can catch him if you want.
I'll catch him.
Good riddance.
I'll catch him and then tie him up. And where I'm hiding, I'm going to gag him, put him where I'm hiding, and then pat him on the head.
You put his hat back on his head?
No. Yeah, put him on. Just have him like that, and he's a pat. And he's like,
Flash forward to many hours later. The suns have set. It was actually quite a lovely. It was just enough open horizon for you to see the sun set, and the dark clouds kind of settled over. That means no moon. That means no stars. So as things get fairly dark, you may want to light a lantern and just kind of strategically place them around the space a little bit, mostly just for your benefit. I know everyone's like, a single light source, but guess what? I've gone caving, and you know what? When you go caving, everybody has their own light source.
I have a when I'm ready, I have a light spell.
Which is great for you, but doesn't do much for anybody
yeah, I know.
else.
Nope.
Sorry that. Yeah, that's.
Snorley's going to climb into the barge, and Snorley also has dark vision, so...
Which
Good
is
for
that at?
you.
which is the only character.
Folk and class features on the third page.
Yep. Yeah, in general, only the dwarves are going to be having dark vision, because in actuality, elves have low light vision in our setting. That's one of the other big changes, because in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, they didn't see in the dark. They saw nicely by starlight and moonlight.
Yep.
And
Very sweet.
I don't mind the differentiation, because I'm an old school guy and I just like it. Okay, so you guys are in. You guys have strategically placed yourselves, and as the night falls, and it's long after sunset, and then the moon will presumably come up, and it's only out briefly whenever there's a gap in the clouds. And so there's going to be intermittent periods where a full moon is beaming downwards, and then nothing.
Kind of just scattered around.
Yeah, and
Moonbeams,
it's
that's nice.
enough. You'll actually see moonbeams playing across the glassy surface.
Ooh, glass.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm a glass maker.
No light. There's absolutely no wind. Whatever. It's still. It's like the gods are holding their breath.
Nice.
And so the moon takes that very moment, and then the clouds just break up. The clouds just drift away very gently, and by about midnight, it's just this incredible moon, like you can practically touch it with your finger, reflected on this massive mirror of a lake.
I shed a tear out of the sheer beauty.
And right on cue, right at the edge of the the stump bog, right behind you guys, there's a little disturbance in that beautiful glassy surface, and it's just a little whisper, a little waddle of a couple of oars in the water, and then it ripples more, and it spreads out, and now it's kind of gently lapping that edge of your guys' island, and then coming slowly around, you can see this great massive bunch of clumps and stumps and all kinds of other stuff they loaded into this barge to make it look like a little island.
Cool. So we
And
see like a floating island,
You
basically. coming
literally,
toward us.
and it starts to come around. And since you
Nice.
guys pulled these up on here, you can strategically place yourselves however you wish after I place my bad guys.
Got it.
Nice.
So, having said that, I'm going to make a quick test for the leader of the bad guys. And then I will make a couple of rolls for the lesser bad guys. You know it's a bad day when your high roll's an 8.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Good for us.
Yay!
Well, I don't know what they rolled out of. You know.
So, quietly, covered in mud, not that different from yourselves, with bits of
Not me.
grass and stump and twigs and vines all wrapped up. They're basically wearing very simple, very primitive ghillie suits.
Oh. Little foliage and.
Yeah.
Very clever.
And as they disembark in the shallows, they will make little sharp growls and snarls. And it almost sounds like, if you've ever heard badgers fighting,
Yeah.
it sounds a little like that, but they're clearly trying to keep it down. And then you'll hear one of them growl, and one of you... if
Are
you
they
look at-
talking?
Yeah.
Can I cast comprehend languages?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And also, those of you, at least one of you,
I'm a
understands
little
Goblin.
Familiar with the language.
At least one of you understands Goblin.
Beautiful.
But here's what you guys will see, because what's going to basically happen is that you guys are going to see the subtitles, but you won't understand them. So you hear quiet. He says the boss will have your balls by midnight if you don't keep it down. And the other one goes, he says, this one will be good eating. He says, well, I thought we was going to be giving them back. And they're like, oh, what are you, stupid? You got balls for brains? He says, we're going to throw them in the stew pot. Meat like that's for eating. And that's the nicest bunch of conversations coming out of the goblins.
Do they have a prisoner? I'm assuming.
There
our
is
air.
nobody
Yeah,
with
it's the
them.
air.
There is nobody with them, and then you hear the words that will make you guys just grimace. He says, "What about Turs? When he's in the stew pot, the minute the boss has got no use for him.
Got it.
He's always belly aching and bitching and screaming and grumbling about his gut. The bosses have had it. Felig and Greshkrang will have him good."
Well, I'm not.
Well, yeah, hang on, I don't understand.
Those are the
anything, so that's
those
fine.
are the goblins. The leader of the goblins have just been named Fthelig, F-T-H-E-L-L-I-G, and Grashgrang, G-R-A-S-H-G-R-E-N-G. It's goblin. You don't have to understand it. Having positioned them like this, and if you guys have put the barges like this, they're going to spread out. So that gives you guys an opportunity to intercept and interact and interrupt at any point. Because the first thing they're going to do is they're going to spread into two groups, and they're going to go to each barge, they're going to flip up the tarps, and they're going to get a good hard look.
Got it.
So you guys literally are going to tell me at what point you interrupt, and then what you do, and then the trap will spring.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
I have an idea already. Even though I'm going to be, I'm going to be in a hiding position, but what I already have a plan for an attack. If I'll spring this out if you guys want.
No, just where are you? Where are
All
you?
right, I'm going to be
Yep.
like right there. Be perfect. Perfect position.
Okay.
I'm like looking out from underneath the.
You're blind.
Yeah.
Yep. What I'm going to do is.
Well,
No. It's good. What I'm going to do is, first off, I'm hearing this, so I'm going to cast light
Okay.
as a cantrip,
Okay.
and then
And it does have a range.
again, I don't have the cantrip, so
I believe it can be cast on something and then thrown. So if you had it on a rock, you can literally just toss it, or it can just be touched to something, and that also will do it.
I was going to be touching it on my mace,
Cool.
so it's be a cross between a mace and a torch.
I'm with you.
Then I'm
Holding
going
it
to.
under the blind, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He could have done that ahead of time because I believe it's got a fairly good duration. It might even be concentration. So
but they might have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
as long
true.
as he's holding it under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fine.
Thank
You
you.
take
Being
measures.
sneaky about it.
I'm not going to try to catch you in some sort of,
No,
you
yeah.
didn't think of this
Your
kind of
light
thing.
got caught by the goblins, and now
Yeah.
you're dead.
So now the ambush is ruined. I'm not going to. You know what? Yeah, I'm not going to do that to you.
All right. So what I'm going to do is after casting that I'm going to be using it kind of so I can actually see where they are. The closest one looks with a bow. I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
And it's going to look like a since my likes are order and discipline, it's going to look like a book that has scales on it.
Okay. Very
But
cool.
that's what I'm going to be doing when combat starts.
Okay.
Well, the thing is that you guys literally tell me when the combat starts.
All right,
Yeah.
so
You
that,
literally tell me. After everyone's placed, you guys tell me when it goes.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, as they're going towards the barge, right? I'm crawling in the mud and essentially
Okay.
trying to like slither over
So
towards
where do you
them.
end up?
Um,
You tell me.
I'm gonna end up behind the guy with his sword up on the
Gotcha.
far left. Yeah,
There
over
you go.
there. And I'm gonna when the time comes, I'm gonna stab him in the back.
No
with my
problem.
short
You
sword.
skulk along the edges of the rock, and you are the rock.
Hell
No
yeah.
problem. Cool. And
I am under the tarp inside the barge, furthest
Oh,
up
yeah.
inside the
Yeah.
island. And I
so
was
pick
holding
this
my
barge
warhammer,
or
like,
this barge.
Which one?
far one.
Gotcha. No problem. You'll
We
be
got
because
this.
they're gotcha. You'll be literally in the midst. Cool. And
The closest, biggest tree to the barges where we drug them up, I would try to pick the closest tree that would be nearest to there to
Poof,
hide behind.
just like that. No problem.
Okay. And then I'm ready to.
And where would you like to be? Where would you like that tree to be, my friend?
Let's be this way, towards me, like me.
Like
yeah,
a-
right
like
there.
this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Works for me. You guys happy with the positioning?
Yeah.
yep.
Wonderful.
Yep.
One of the goblins growling at its nearby companion. He says this is going to be the best haul yet. Flips up, and there's the dwarf. And everything freezes as the goblins just go, and there's an expletive in goblin at the bottom of the screen and big flashing subtitles.
So,
The leader turns, looks towards his barge, everything freezes, and you guys take your actions in whatever order you guys want.
all right.
I'm in the middle of it, so
Yeah.
do you guys mind if I go
Go ahead.
first?
Go,
You have dark
yeah,
vision, right?
I do, yes.
I don't know if the yeah.
Here's an important thing that we have to make sure that we let her do. This is important. She has cleave as an ability. All fighters have a cleave ability, which means that at level 3, if she kills one, she can move on to the next one within reach.
Nice.
And if you kill that one, you can move on to the next one within reach. You can do that every single round.
All right, well, let's hope I roll pretty well and get to use that.
And never, but you know what? That's the great thing about Joss is it's a great equalizer. First attack, pick your target.
All right.
They all have the same look.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the one with the mace and the shield.
You got it right here.
And I'm going to go ahead and use my Warhammer two-handed this
Ooh,
time.
leaving the shield inside of the
Real
barge.
Yeah.
And now, yes, and your weapon is Warhammer now becomes a D12. And you know,
Yes.
initiative isn't a factor this turn, but next turn it will be.
Okay.
It's like an action to like kind of.
Exactly. No, I generally, as long as you're not engaged, I don't mind if you switch hands
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it. Just if you want to ready a bunch and do a bunch of crazy stuff, is
Yeah.
when I kind of go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we gotta figure it out.
You got your attack. Go for it.
So, initiative.
That's a D12.
Oh.
You don't have to worry about initiative. You have to
Right,
worry just
sorry.
attack rolls.
So,
Yep.
a 17.
Plus your attack mods. So Warhammer
is
2.
plus 6.
Ooh.
So, it'll be
23 plus the 4 for the
Gee.
surprise gives you a 27. Needless to say, that will definitely hit. Roll the damage on that bad boy.
right.
It should be a
It's gonna be a
D10 plus your strength bonus. Because pretty much any weapon is versatile.
So 7.
So, and are you one of your abilities? If you look at your character sheet on the second page, under your class and folk features, there is a weapon
Plus
specialization
1.
ability.
To my hit of goblin kind. So
Yes.
that would bring me up to.
Well, you also have a plus. I believe you're also. What is your weapon specialization? Weapon focus.
Oh, okay.
+1 to hit and +1 damage.
All right, so that brings me up to a 9 damage.
So as you unload, everything just freezes, and it's just a blur. As there's a splash as you turn his head into a ski boot. It just rips right open, and you immediately just turn in place, spring up, and then you backhand the next one within reach. Next attack.
Okay,
This is gonna be great.
Yep.
that's a 4.
Don't
plus-
add all your bonuses. This is surprise, +1 goblin kind, +1 for focus. It adds up,
Eventually.
So that'd be up to an 8.
and that's including don't forget your proficiency bonus too.
Okay, so a 9. Added on strength.
No. Proficiency bonus is your level.
Oh, and so just another one to that. Okay, so a 12.
Well, boom. These guys aren't using their shields right now.
Yeah,
they
they're
don't
not.
see it coming.
Yep.
And they're
Yeah.
wearing they're not wearing much in terms of armor. These are just advanced guys. So all of a sudden you turn on the next guy, blam, with a backhand. Roll the damage.
Okay.
D10. Plus your strength bonus. Ooh.
Plus 10 with the Warhammer.
10 damage?
So 10, yes.
The goblin literally disappears. Just disappears. There's a splash in the murk, and you can hear multiple splashes in the murky water.
Okay. I'll take it.
And
I'll take it.
your
Ano-
third attack.
Okay.
Yeah, another cleave. Yay.
Cleave. And that ends it for the turn.
3 attacks.
Attack.
Yep, cleave.
D20.
Dang. We didn't have to do
Oh, yeah.
anything, John.
Okay, I'm fine with that. The less
so
muddy I
8,
get.
9.
Are you rolling a D12 for your attack roll? No, we want to roll.
No,
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
There you go. Oh.
Okay,
All right.
19.
Well,
Flat
19,
19,
20,
yeah.
21 plus 4 for the surprise, right? That's 25.
Yeah.
Right? So roll the D10 for your damage.
That's going to be 7, 8.
9, 10, because of your specialization.
Dang.
And as you finish up, you literally just stand over the goblin. He looks up at you like with this panic-stricken look in his eye, and it's just, they see a shadow on the back wall, and you're basically at the carnival, and you're ringing the bell.
Yes.
Boing!
Well, I think you're now soaked with blood and
Yes,
guts.
I am. I was standing behind him with a sword like this, so I am just covered in blood now. Thanks.
You might want to wring the brains out of your brain.
Yeah.
That was on your action out of a complete surprise situation. That was, who would like to go
I'll
next?
smack the one with the bow. With the bow with the spiritual weapon.
Got you. Roll the attack, please.
All right.
And all the penalty, it's still plus 4 to hit because of complete surprise and from
All
behind.
right, awesome. Let's see here. 17.
No surprise. And you said a book? So a giant librum just goes blam!
Nice.
Nice.
And I think it's a D6. Let me double check.
Is the leader still up, or which one's the
The
leader?
leader actually is here.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
It's hard to tell amongst them. They're all kind of little scabby little guys.
That would be 6
The book
points of damage.
shatters him from behind, and he goes flying forward and collapses.
Here's back break. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fine.
Breaking the law will come down to you.
And next,
I guess I'll go next. I'll go for the little guy by the coast.
you pop up and you
Yeah.
dash around through the shallows at him.
Yeah.
Cool. Give me your attack.
And stab it.
Is this a charge? That plus
Yes.
that plus
Yeah.
2 to hit.
Yes, it
Got
will
it.
be.
No problem.
So
Here, roll.
it's
I'm
a
definitely running on adrenaline.
So it's a plus
So-
6 for including everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Muddy
So
boy,
a
have
22. Yeah, exactly. Very muddy, very
Nice.
boy.
These guys are surprised, which means you get to use your sneak attack damage.
Beautiful.
So go ahead and roll me that 2d6 plus dex.
Ooh.
Good that it was 2.
Okay. So let's see. That was 7 plus 3, 10.
What happens? Describe
Okay.
it to me.
All right. So I'm taking my short sword, right, and I'm just kind of gutting him in the stomach and then just slicing right up.
He splits into 2 paths and then just collapses a mess.
That's what I call a banana split.
Oh, well, they are kind of orange.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So only one remains.
Is it a banana
Yep.
sundae?
Yeah, and the leader is just,
I'll step out from behind the tree and I'll cast Charm Person.
oh.
Nice.
Is it good?
His eyes catch your eyes, and there's just that moment of exchange as I reach over and try to roll, I believe, a wisdom save.
Yes.
Well, gee, I don't think a 6 plus mods is going to do it. You see him kind of haze over for a moment, and your mind is his mind is your mind, and then all of a sudden, he looks at you, and it's as if the surprise is over. He just sits there kind of smiling, and he just says, "Long time no see, friend."
Yes. Been a
And
long
he
time.
smiles with a mouthful of sharp fish-like teeth.
Yes, friend. And then I say everything is okay. And then I say, come sit by the fire.
He says, "What happened to my friends?"
They went on vacation.
Oh, lazy. You
You need to pay them more.
Boss is going to be very unhappy.
Aren't you the boss?
Oh, I know Fele go Greshkrang. I dreng.
Where were these barges going? Where are you going to be taking them?
Back to the nest.
Ah, which would be?
Back that way.
Ah,
You want Drang to show you?
yes, please.
Since we're such good friends.
Yes, of course.
We share rancid
I
rats.
give him a Joss point.
Ooh. You actually give the NPC, you're actually giving the game master
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Joss point? Wow.
Yeah.
That is most unusual. I'll have to find a place to use that in a most painful way
Yes.
possible.
Oh no.
Okay.
You've doomed us.
Drang will just sit there smiling imbecilically as long as the spell lasts.
Okay.
So he'll just,
Oh, I like that.
How long does the spell last?
Yeah.
I told him,
please.
I
I
would
think
pat
it's
him
like
on the
10
head.
minutes.
1 hour.
Oh, even better.
Nice.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, here we go.
hit him up with the questions. This is your guys' captive. You can do whatever you want. I'm not encouraging anything horrible, so.
Yeah. I say we go. I say
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
go.
let's
down
go to
with
the
it.
nest.
Absolutely.
For
Yeah,
sure.
let's take their
Drang
barge.
The whole-
take you to the net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drang introduce you to Fellig and
Yes.
Greshdrang.
Yeah, that'd be
The
wonderful.
boss would be angry.
No.
And then we should. What are we gonna do with He-Man? I kind of like lean over to the. What are we doing with He-Man?
Yeah, I was about to. I was actually thinking about that. Maybe we could actually have it where like it was just both of them coming back and we're inside of just like how you were.
You guys realize
the
the
barge.
goblin suddenly leans in. He goes, "What are we talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Our good friend He-Man. You know He-Man.
Yeah. He-Man.
Oh, Turs?
Yeah, Turs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We agree.
Always asking for bigger cuts.
Right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
We bring them to the boss. That's
Always
what we
We
do.
take
bring him
him
to
to
the
the
boss.
boss, I think.
Always wanting more. Always snooping around, asking around.
He's very cowardly.
He even asks about the ring.
Oh.
Not your ring.
Not no
your-
not the
oh, okay.
no. It
Oh, so
it's
you're
on
single.
no. Greshdrang wear it on neck on
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Ring.
Really special.
Yeah,
ring,
I would
okay.
say we let him.
Yeah, we'll bring He-Man.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
taking him.
we take He-Man. We let him bring the barges back.
I cut. I cut. You're done. He takes out a long knife. I can just do it.
Oh, whoa.
No, he's going
Don't
with
we
us.
need the boss's permission to do that?
We
Right?
do you-
We don't
He
want him to
he
use his
sheaths the
ring.
weapon like a kid. That you basically just took away his ice cream cone. He's like,
Look.
no, but
I
think
get
about
it. Your
it.
middle management, I get it, but like you gotta go.
Boss says you do a good job if he sees you kill him.
Yeah. You get credit in front of boss.
I get bigger cut of the rat.
Yeah,
Right.
bigger bite.
Maybe
Bigger bite.
Maybe I get a rat of my own.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be good.
Take
And
big
then,
bite.
Large.
I take you.
Dream
I
big.
take you.
Yes.
I take you.
Please.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
I would
Let's
say
go.
just in case, and we need to get in there. We hide inside of the barges like you did. So it's one of those. He's taking them, taking the He-Man.
Yeah, so we're gonna take the
We're gonna
barges.
take the
Yeah, we're gonna take the barges.
So just to let you guys know, the value of these barges is almost nil.
Okay, because it's trash and things like that.
It's the armor is old and rotten and moldy. Shields have been hit multiple times and are shattered. Weapons are pitted. Food is within a day or two of rotting.
Is there a bow in there somewhere?
That'd be good.
Are you looking for a bow?
Yes. Can I cast mending on it?
I don't mind if you want to requisition.
Okay.
I feel no. See, this is kind of like this
Yeah.
isn't like a home campaign where I basically throw a ton of treasure at you guys.
Yeah.
But if you were like, well, can I get a short
Yes.
bow out of this?
I would like a
And
short
I'd be like,
Yes.
just like that.
Okay.
Just like that.
And
Boom.
I'll
Yeah.
clean it up with
And
mending.
a quiver of 2d6 arrows. Just roll
Okay.
it.
You got it.
And I can do that with anything, like
Yeah.
coils of rope. I mean, you guys are third level. You should basically have what you need. And I don't like making up extensive gear lists because
Alright.
it's boring.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you guys need what you need.
Seasoned adventurers.
Yeah.
And then just tell me. You'd be like, can I have a whetstone? Boom, just like that.
right.
Okay.
What if we take the goblin's barge back
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
we're gonna be
suggest
doing.
because
instead of our own?
Yeah, we'll leave those there.
Yeah.
We'll go back the way
Okay.
they came.
Yeah.
As to say, do we want
And
to
we-
take any of the goods to kind of show that they went and got the stuff, or we just kind of leave it there?
No,
and
I
just
say
pretend?
we send our friend out, and he tells the bosses, "Oh, they didn't have anything good.
Yeah.
They didn't leave
oh,
anything."
now
Yeah,
we're
that'd
getting
be good.
because what have you guys learned? There's a nest. That means there's probably more than one encaunter's worth of goblins.
certainly.
Yeah.
Right?
I would think
So this is
We're
going
going
to
to
turn.
pull
So
a
just to let you
community.
guys know, this is going to turn into a Fortress of Navarone situation, probably, right? Okay, so already start thinking about that. Viewers should already be thinking about it too. Quick look at the time here. We're still doing great on time. It's 3:21. Let's press on, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
So a quick capture your miniatures. I'm going to wipe the battle mat real quick, like.
Yeah.
So if you guys can just collect your figgies. And Drang, who wants to be in charge of Drang? You're
I
a
got
buddy,
it.
so you got Drang.
I'm his
There
best
you go.
friend.
There you go. Because who doesn't like Drang? Everyone loves Drang.
And now,
Yeah. So while you're cleaning up, the whole time I was talking to him, I had a.
Keep asking me questions.
I don't
I'll
know
keep
what they're
doing it.
called. It's like a glass sphere that you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
You want
yeah,
a glass?
the little
You want a
Yeah.
glass bauble.
Yeah, kind
You
of
want
like
a
that.
David Bowie
Labyrinth.
ball.
Yeah,
Yes, labyrinth.
Done.
King
Yeah,
of the
that I made
Goblins.
myself.
Oh,
Obviously.
beautiful.
Oh, that's right, 'cause you're a
Is it
glass
colored?
blower.
Is
Yes.
it like rainbow prism color?
No.
or-
It's called starlight. It's kind of like a silvery thing.
Oh,
It has like
that's
like a
nice.
marble, like a silver
Oh,
tornado in
it's
the
more
middle.
like it's more like crystal than actual
Yes,
glass.
it's
then.
meant
Very
to be
nice.
for distraction. It's meant
Oh,
to,
okay.
like while I'm talking, it's something to throw them off.
Okay.
So, my good friends, as you guys put some distance between yourselves and this place, knowing that basically the stuff in the barges is practically valueless, but it can be brought back. The barges do have some value. You can pick those up on the way back.
yeah.
The craft, as you guys push into the rot stump, quickly becomes an issue. So, looking at your guys' backgrounds, who among you is probably the most proficient with handling a barge?
Ooh, not I, said the fly.
You have to look at your backgrounds, and the backgrounds contain your character's culture, your upbringing, and also your vocation. Because adventurers don't just come into the world a fighter; they usually have a
I was
trade.
gonna say, I'm a cobbler. I'm kind of poor from the country, but I don't
I'm
know
a prospector. I'm out here for the money.
All right.
I'm a
So-
trade farmsteader.
Okay,
So-
a farmsteader, so that might be a little more helpful.
You're good with your hands.
Maybe we could just kind of team up and do some constructing.
I'm good with navigating the
high five.
stars,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
know
high five.
how to navigate. But I'm
So
not.
Drango, he picks up the pole barge. Drango barges.
Wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for helping
You're
out.
real good at it.
Yeah.
Lead us there,
said-
Dringo.
Yes. Lead the way.
So he will. That's all I was waiting for. You guys, Drang, take us there.
You got this.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
There is the rot stump is named because of the fact that, like an old man's teeth, there's just a vast field of murky, fetid water, the color of tea, and this ain't Snapple. And then all these rotten stumps of trees that have just decayed below the water line, and they look like gravestones from a certain angle too. So as you guys pull into that foggy, swampy wetland, you guys quickly leave the outside world behind you, and it's night and day. It's like all the animal life and plant life suddenly gets really noisy. You hear the buzzing of insects, and some of these insects have 3-foot wingspans. You'll see stuff slither down into the murky water. You'll see trees will creak as if something was on a low-hanging branch and it shifted its weight to get a better look at you. It's the worst parts of the scariest Disney movie you ever saw.
Yeah.
Great.
As you guys are moving, Drang will actually make kind of sort of an orientation roll. And this kind of takes the place of just a random encounter. This is like a peril avoidance roll. If you make the roll, you avoid it. If you don't make the roll, then you have to kind of deal with it. And there's usually a set number of rolls you have to make to kind of get to your destination. I could just go, you're there, but it's more fun to throw an occasional little something at you. Quick test here. Drang proves his value. I'm just as surprised as you guys are. As the first couple hours he pulls along, and you guys have left Lake Strom behind, and it's just slow, quiet, murky pulling, and your breath, as you guys will hear your heartbeats. It's just, and then the buzzing of all the insects around you and the slithering and whatnot. And then the water suddenly starts to get a little too warm. And so the cool night air and the warm water, there's now a fog 2 feet above the water surface.
The Everglades.
Impressive. Impressive. You actually called it. You're saying there's going to be some fog.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's all
So-
ish.
The next roll, Drang will make the check. Now here's the thing. Watching Drang do this, you can do a little OJT. Who among you would have been interested enough to say, hey, can I take a hand at that polling? If it's nobody, just say nobody.
No, we're good.
I want to try it out.
Cool, no problem. So having
think I'm
said
a
that,
little drunk.
you basically gain the equivalent of familiarity, which means that you're not non-proficient anymore. You're now familiar. Oh, I know how to work a barge a little bit. I'm not
I
great
did it once
yet.
before.
Push a pole.
And she may even take a hand at it. So Drang hands you the pole, and for the next trip, you're the one that makes the roll.
No, sorry, guys.
But this is not
bad.
particularly difficult. So go ahead and give me the test, but you count as familiar, which means you get to add half your level, which is +1, because you dropped the fraction, and you get to use your dexterity bonus.
Okay.
All right.
Not bad.
An 18.
Nice.
I don't see what the big deal
You're
is.
natural.
I know how to barge.
Snorkel.
You may now add underneath your list of your characters, like your folk and class features, you can actually add familiar barge handling.
Nice.
You can grow your skills in this game very quickly just by keeping a list of crap you've done.
Cool.
And over time, you can become proficient at it, which is pretty cool.
I do want to become proficient in
So,
barging.
but more importantly,
Barge
you pull through a particularly nasty area where stumps are no more than 7 or 8 feet apart. And these are good-sized barges, right? They sit down 2 feet in the water. So at any moment, the craft could have gotten stumped. You guys could have gotten lost. There's a million possibilities. So as you leave this billabong, this kind of sunken depression space, as you push past it, behind you, the muddy slop that makes up the floor rises up 8 feet, and the 19-foot diameter giant snapping turtle watches as you guys leave its domain, and it doesn't accost you. You avoid the peril.
Good
You're
boy.
welcome.
But the audience sees it happen, and everyone goes, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, I was like, oh, not
And bring us home, Mama. You want to do that last roll?
Sure.
Give me a test. Same roll as before. You can always spend a point of Jaws.
You know, I'd love.
This
yeah,
costs you
on a point.
nothing.
Oh, wonderful.
This costs you. This is group
You can
Jaws.
keep
Costs you
those two
nothing.
for the next time.
Roll it.
All right,
Better.
slightly better, 15.
As you pull through that last little bit of domain, and you come within sight of what's going on, you have an awesome view. The moon is out. It's behind this almost 4-story, very imposing, ugly, obviously human stone tower built several decades ago. But you can see the moon sticking through it, and the glow of the moon through the chunks of the rock, through the back portion of the structure, looks like a skull leering down at you guys.
That's kind of
Very
cool.
goony.
It sits in the middle of this vast lagoon with all kinds of broken rock and debris, etc., and it sits on kind of an oblong-sized artificial island. There's a rotten, long series of docks that kind of sort of thread out and towards the central structure. There are little rippling, burning fires scattered here and there inside of this structure, the goblins occupying this space.
Interesting.
An hour lapses.
Okay.
An hour lapses. I would suggest you burn another spell slot to reestablish the spell.
Yes, I will do that.
And
Otherwise we have to
and
kill
Drang
him.
briefly goes, "Hey," and then the spell reasserts, and he just starts to smile again.
You good?
And he just shakes it off, like boop, 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 bubbles pop. And he shakes it off, and then he's back under the control.
Okay.
When you guys arrive here, you guys probably another 15 or 20 minutes of Drang being under the control, and then you'll have to do it again. But the scene is your guys' to interact however you wish.
I'll start talking to Drang about the layout and kind of what we can expect. How
Ask
many
me
how many
questions.
How
guards?
many people
How many
are there?
guards?
Hit me. Here's the best way to conduct.
Where are we entering?
Here's the best way to conduct because a lot of players will like all talk and you'll ask like 8 questions. The game master loses the questions.
Yeah.
So ask a small, brief question. One after another is totally cool.
Where are we entering?
He says many entrances, but all of them are trapped except one, and even that got a little trap.
Oh.
What's the little trap?
He says it's a slipping piece of stonework. If you know it there, you can just duck and slide underneath.
Oh,
Beautiful.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, then that's where we'll go.
Yeah.
How many guards guard this entrance?
1, 2,
Many, he says.
That's what an 8 intelligence looks like. Many.
It's okay, Drang. I'm not good at math either. I get it.
It's like 1, 2, 12.
Are any
That's
of
all
the
I- that's all I
other
need.
entrances less guarded?
Oh, good one.
The water tunnel.
Water tunnel.
What's the trap in the water tunnel?
No,
Is it-
no
that
trap.
is
Just a few guards.
Okay.
Okay.
Gelrock and Turg. I hate
Turg.
Yeah.
Turg is just the worst.
It is.
Ugh.
All right, we'll go to Turg's water tunnel then. I think that's what
Okay,
we're
that
entering.
sounds
Well,
good. Yeah.
it is dark. So, and you guys are not necessarily sure what you're looking into. So, and this is a 2-parter.
Okay.
You guys have actually reached the conclusion of part 1. We could end it here, but what you guys could also do is you guys could be like, you know what? Let's park the barge someplace else, and then scout the area tomorrow when the suns are actually up, and see what's going on around you. You don't have to assault Navarone right this second. You're not under that kind of pressure. But you guys can, if you want to, you can even scout it first. That's totally cool too. And that makes use of what rogues are supposed to do.
Question.
And sneaky fighters.
Could this also be we could take a long rest between sessions or not? If we're going, okay. So actually, if we want,
You can ask for that at any time, because when I do short rests, my short rests are like a breather in a book. It's like you turn the
what about
page. And there's
long rest?
Long rests are usually like, it's like just like normal. You sleep overnight.
Yeah.
You sleep overnight.
Because if we're gonna scout out, what we could do is I have the spell enhance ability, and I could give our rogue. Yes.
Also, we probably need to, if we're gonna park it and scout it and all that
Yeah.
stuff, we probably need to gag and tie this goblin so
Yes,
we
'cause
just,
he's
so he
not
doesn't
gonna
go
be
back
charmed the whole time.
and inform everybody that we're coming.
Yeah.
So,
Good thinking, because like I said, I gave you that tip. I'm like, man, in about 10 minutes, it's
Yes.
going to wear off again.
so I
Yeah.
think we gag him and knock
Get
him
all
out
the
or-
information out. And
Yes.
gag
Why don't we have
out.
him lead us to the water tunnel? We can go
Or
check
just,
it
yes,
out.
or have
so we know
him
where it's at.
or have him just indicate it to you. That way you don't have to
Yes,
get close.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us
Because
a good
my
map
bad
area.
guys are really good at night, and they're keeping an eye on things, and the moon is out, so it's going to be a little hard for you guys to be really skulky.
Plus, I
as
need
a
my
group.
spells back. so.
Right.
Say we
Yeah,
do this
likewise.
during the day, probably.
Yeah, because I was
Might
gonna
need to sleep.
like
You know, goblins don't particularly see well during the day.
Yeah, I figure.
Drake,
like,
Drake, is there a nearby island that's close to your nest?
Oh, yes. He'll kind of point wherever you see scrubby brush just above the water line. There's a lot. I mean, I could literally. This is a lagoon, so it's an open area of water, and there's a dock that goes from the shoreline, and it kind of like winds semicircularly up to the island in the middle of the lagoon, and the tower is in the middle of it. There's also another structure. Now that you guys have been watching long enough, there's also appears to be something stable-like. Towers generally would have attached structures, right, with stables and all kinds of things can be attached. But there's a short distance, so not more than say 25 paces away. There appears to be a one-story like stable that's just over the edge of the water. I mean, it's like literally it's perched like it could fall over at any moment.
Okay.
yeah.
So I say we go to the nearest island.
I'd
Yeah.
say
Dock
we
our
would find
little
out if there's-
artificial island up there.
Yeah.
Because approaching where the docks is probably an asking for it kind of a thing.
Yeah.
True.
A little too- So what you guys can do is that you guys can probably want to go on foot. Probably on foot.
Yep.
You okay
So
with
which-
that? You're
Yes,
gonna
I'll
have to
be
go
fine.
through some.
So you
muddy
guys are getting
water.
so you guys are going to have to kind of sort of somebody is going to have to forge ahead. Somebody maybe with a woodsman's background or some sort of an element like that, just out of curiosity.
I've got cartography.
So do I.
That's about it.
So not really, but that's
Not
okay.
really.
But that's okay. This isn't the most perilous situation. Just take your time. You guys know they're here. They don't know you're here.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to scout ahead, it lasts for, I think,
I think it depends on how deep this water is. I'm a 3'4".
What'll basically happen is that there's no uniformity to it all. It's just that you have to move cautiously as you go along, and there's going to be moments where it's glug.
it lasts for an hour. I could give you I could make you have advantage on dexterity skill checks.
That would be good.
Well, it's actually more like a +4, not necessarily.
Okay, so
just
it's a
a
+4.
universal +4.
All right, so I can give her +4 with enhanced ability if you would like to go scouting ahead.
Yeah, that would be good. Just to kind of take a nice perimeter.
Yep.
Does anybody want to go
So
with me?
having said that, and I will kind of unfortunately the audience will just have to make do because it's it's kind of a smaller map. So, but I can show you guys. Basically, you have the larger island here. You have the lagoon around the edge, and this is where the barge would come in.
Okay.
The island that you guys asked about could be this one or this one or this one. Or you guys is basically picked. This is the larger of them, but it gets a really good view of everything.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
But you can also go all the way around if you want to, which you guys may want to next session. So having said that, you, sticking to the shallowest water you possibly can, what are you going to do about a light source? You do have the moon, right? You do have the moon, which will help you out a lot. Now, I'm going to bend the rules a little bit for you, but it's going to cost you.
Great.
Is that cool?
Yeah,
It's going to cost you.
toss
So
it
here's the
already.
deal. On your mother's side, I'm going to throw a little bit of this out there. We have 3 types of halflings in our world.
Nice.
One of whom is referred to as the Bramblewise. You're 1/2 Bramblewise on your grandmother's side. So you actually can add to your character sheet low light vision.
Nice.
It costs you, but that's okay.
But yeah, if that's the case, then I'll give her the +4 on stealth to maneuver around and also to try
Dex checks, right?
Gotcha.
all dex checks.
So she separates from you guys, and you open up your almost elven eyes, the way it works out to be. This also makes you a teeny bit taller than the average halfling, but the character was already a little tall.
Yeah.
It's almost like I almost planned on this. So anyways, almost. As you separate from the rest of the crew and you move forward and the rest of the crew kind of hangs back, there's that moment where you think to yourself, you could invite the dwarf along.
Yeah, I was
You
kind of
could.
thinking, do you want to?
And I know everyone's like,
Short
you can't do that. You'll never make stealth rolls. Trust me, if you have adequate preparation, you can walk around with a joy buzzer going constantly, and you can
Or
surprise
would
your
it
backers.
would it be better to give the dwarf the enhanced ability?
You might want to give them the.
Or you cast the spell twice.
Yeah. Or
Since
you-
you're going to get a long rest.
Up to you.
I can't. I already used spiritual weapon, so it's
Gotcha.
one. It's
Yeah.
so it's. I can give one of you the +4.
Well, what's your dex like?
Good.
Good. Yeah. On par.
Well, it's good. It's just not rogue good.
Okay, that's kind of what I was like.
If that's the case, I'll
I've
give.
got this bad leg,
Do you have
so
dark vision?
it would be good. Yes, I do.
I have low light. I'll go with her.
Yeah?
I'll go low light.
Yeah?
vision.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You got this? Cool.
Yeah, you got
I'll
this?
pull my little robes up and kind of.
Oh.
My point is that not
My
everyone has
hero.
to. I'm not saying that not everyone has to pull back. I'm saying if you all wanted to go, that's also equally fine. I don't have a problem with that.
And I turn to Dreg and I say, guard them, and
Knowing,
stay here.
knowing that the spell will probably lapse, you might want to.
Yeah.
I'll
look at
hog
you
tie.
guys.
I'll hog tie him.
I'll look
enough.
over at Snorley and I'll say, gag.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
It probably doesn't take much for you to. So it's just one of those. This is what we're going to do, and it's just like, blam.
Yeah.
It's like just like last time.
And they're both laying in the barge like they're both like.
They are trussed up like
He-Man.
they are trussed up like Thanksgiving turkeys.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna hog it. Okay.
With an
All
apple in their mouths.
In turn, would you like the?
No, I'm fine.
The dex.
You're good?
Okay.
Okay, so then I'll keep it, and I'm sure you've got your own thing going on.
All right. So yeah, then I'll
you guys
give.
are, you guys are cool with this?
Yeah, since we're gonna
Alright.
take a long rest, I'll give her the +4 to her dexterity check.
Fair enough. Drang was very clear. The entrance is actually just slightly. If you were facing the island, you saw the entire tower laid out like this, and the island is from left to right, like so. It's on the right-hand point at the water level. There's actually a rise in the rock, a good 6 or 8 feet, and then it's above the water surface, and there's just an overhang of thicket and green and moss and vines, lots and lots of roots,
We like that.
acting as a curtain in front of the water tunnel.
Got it.
So as you guys are schlepping along, you ease into the water, and it's uncomfortably warm, and you swear every time you take a step, you can feel something swim against your leg. And at one point, something just clings to your leg for a second, and then it lets go.
Yep, I'm good. Nope. Get off
You
my
are
leg.
you are not alone. This is the Amazon.
Great.
As you schlep along, and it's occasionally dunking and sometimes swimming and sometimes it's walking, but it's uncomfortable and unpleasant no matter what. You get within a short distance of it, and then I make a quick test. Interesting.
Oh, no.
Very interesting. You can see a bit of light on one of the towers. On that single tower, you see a bit of light as if something watching the grounds below saw something, a disturbance. And as you guys are moving along, you freeze, and then you hear a creak, and then the elf will hear, and the halfling will hear it as well. Twink, as a short bow is released, as a short arrow is released.
Yeah.
And then a second later, you can hear a and it's like, now you're already two. And what's actually happening is there's a couple goblins on the second floor, and they're actually pincushing anything that's alive on the island that moves.
That's cute.
And they're currently, and they're basically, that's what they're doing to bide their time. They're distracted as you guys make towards the tunnel's entrance. Sure enough, there it is. You just part the vines, and there's a tunnel 5-6 feet high above, just barely above the water, where a heavily laden barge would slide right down the tunnel like the gullet of a giant sea beast.
I see.
In fact, it looks like a leviathan opening wide.
That's some good architecture. I
Yeah.
like that.
We found our entrance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that would be it. That looks like an entrance if I ever saw one.
A path winds up from the dock up to the main entrance point from where you can see. There's a ton of cover, thickets, brambles, fallen trees. Just the island is covered, and it's all up and down. It's just, the island is rough looking. You have to imagine, it's almost as if somebody with a tremendous amount of magical power, maybe a magical engineer, rose all the mud and rock out of the earth to create the tower,
Yeah.
and then they built the tower on top of it.
Is there any sand? Is there any sand? There's just
I
mud
would
and
imagine
muck and
that
dirt.
you couldn't even see the sand.
Got it.
You would
Yeah.
it would just be like that silty, gray,
Just
cloddy.
lumpy.
Yeah, and that would be the shallows. And there are shallows, but it does get fairly deep
Yeah.
around the edge.
I'm just looking for new import for my glass. So.
Always be on the lookout for raw materials.
Mhm.
Man.
Yes.
That's an artisan committed to his craft, and I applaud you for it.
I don't know if you're gonna get new material.
Yeah, yeah.
Myself.
So I don't think we go in. I think we go back.
Yes, yeah.
And then we
yeah.
come
We're
back
not gonna
tomorrow.
go in yet. We're just gonna take a scout.
Yeah, we're
and
looking.
see.
So, are you comfortable with that, with what you found so far, and you're ready to head back?
I think
think
so.
so.
You said there were like 2 guards, right?
Well, that was just the
Yeah,
two
that's
that
what we can
that's
see.
the
We
two
can
that are
see two.
facing.
You can only hear 2
And they have bows,
I-
and they're easily distracted.
Just relying upon a passive perception kind of a thing. From your guys' vantage point, you can easily make out that there are 2 occupiable floors, including a roof, and it's all hold. There are facing you guys. And the second floor actually has balconies. And what's really interesting about this is that the ground floor is completely covered in scaffolding. Very primitive scaffolding.
Like they're building or
The
working.
goblins are repairing the tower.
Interesting.
But they've also been taking captives.
That's what they need all this trash and stuff for. So they're working on their nest.
Yeah. It's like a
This
like
is
a wasp, and then just
This
take
is a
things and
fortress in
build
the
them up.
making. This is Dol Guldur.
Yeah. Okay.
So we make our way back to the main island.
No
Or
problem.
resting
We
island.
relay
Quick-
all of this information.
Quick test first, because it's always, getting in is almost easy. It's getting out is when something goes horribly wrong. And on that note,
No. We come back. The dwarf is dead.
the elf moving along. Give me a quick deck. I want to see at this very second. I want the elf to make me a dex check. Now, this is wildernessy, but it's not. Elves don't really live in the swamp. They live in the forest. But you know what? This is a good moment for familiar. This is familiar.
8, 11, 11?
Well, you're adding your dexterity bonus, and you're also adding your +1 for being familiar, correct?
Oh yeah, 12.
Cool. There we go. I want to make sure I don't want to rob you of that +1. As you're moving along, you actually are walking, because your character's a little fastidious, you're walking on a submerged log just beneath the water surface. So you're only in like this much mucky water.
Okay.
But the log is rotten to the core at the top. And as he's walking along, he steps right through it. There's a splash. And the goblins suddenly stop focusing on
Whatever's on
birds or whatever is crawling around, and they see motion. And one of them says, one of the goblins literally growls out, he says, there, and he points. There's a quick shot, and the arrow swishes by, and you feel it tickle your cheek.
Oh.
Bro. Okay.
Tickled your cheek, and then you freeze.
I whisper under my breath as we freeze. I cast fog cloud and just.
That'd be good.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So they are less prone to further investigation.
Yeah, and out of my sleeve, just a billowing little
Ooh.
cloud. of smoke.
And that's a good size area of effect, too.
that would be
Six
good, yes,
six
please.
paces, I believe.
Yep,
Radius.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So all of a sudden, because there's already pre-existing fog, right?
Yeah,
Because
so
this is
this
a
gets
hollow.
real
It gets real thick and it spreads out. So you disappear. There's a few more arrows that are fired and they'll splash in the nearby water. Let me give a couple of quick tests here just to see if one of them gets lucky. You never know.
I hope not.
Neither of them get lucky.
good.
There's splashes near you, but until they probably go through 6 or 8 arrows in the process, and you guys have rejoined your companions, and they would have heard, and all of a sudden the entire building gets really dark as they kill the lights.
All the fires go out.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And it's quick enough so that either there must be dousing or they're putting like a lid on stuff. It's hard to say. But you guys watch as there's an angry anthill, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of motion at the door, because you guys can see this because of the moonlight. You can see about a dozen goblins stagger out, but it's what you see that startles you. Have you guys ever seen the original Basque Hobbit movie, where Sam and Frodo are wearing that ridiculously oversized orc armor?
Yeah.
Okay, the goblins are all wearing plate mail that was made for humans and then sort of sized for goblins. So it's kind of comedic, but it's still like,
Kind of terrifying.
it's kind of terrifying.
It's like a juggernaut.
Yeah.
going on.
So, and they're angry ants boiling out of the anthill. So they'll come out of the front door, and they'll go right to the water's edge. And you guys are long gone. You guys are 70, 80 paces away at the least. And they all kind of gather around and they look, and they go out to the swampy, murky water where you lost your footing. And so they're pawing over the area, but it's the two biggest goblins amongst the crowd that gets your attention. And there's a big, and I mean almost orc-sized one. He's just got short legs, but he's got a pot belly, big barrel chest. Me, if I was this tall, which is scary.
I promise.
More scary than this. But the fact of the matter is that he exudes, and he's not barking out a single order. He's just watching, and he's investigating. He points and he snarls. But it's the little skinnier one with the bow that also causes you to pause. This is the goblin that looks sharp. This is the goblin that has a name. And you immediately pick out Grashgrang and Thelig.
He's like Cher of goblins.
He's got that look. His armor is not ill-fitting. His bow looks like it belongs in his hand.
A ring around his neck.
And then, perfect opportunity, he turns, and off that beautiful platinum band, it glimmers. And anyone with elvish blood will look at it and go, that was made by gray elves. And that is what you guys know for a fact. We have 12 minutes left. I would suggest you guys withdraw a good distance. You guys can withdraw a half mile away and be here like that.
I was actually thinking is we draw back far enough, hunker down, take a long rest, and what if we actually entered during the day?
Yes, I agree. I think they're going to do this during the day.
Because of they
do all their business at night. So
exactly.
They got to sleep sometime.
Yeah.
That, and also from what we know, thanks to someone who hates goblins, that they attack at night. Day, they are pretty much nocturnal type of thing. So I much take that to our advantage.
Great idea, guys.
I agree.
Plus up. You guys withdraw, like I said, a half mile is safe, right? A mile is even better because you guys can have fire, you can have light, you're not sitting in the muck, etc.
That would be
So
nice, I think.
we flash forward to the next scene. And you guys are withdrawing, and with enough light coming through the canopy, you guys can hear it before you see it. And you'll hear a whinny and a nickering, and that's the voice of a horse. You guys will come across a heavy war horse that's up to its chest in mud.
Oh, no.
It's churned the gray mud into an almost frosting-like consistency. It's not frosting, halfling, so just stop. It's not frosting.
I am a bit hungry.
Resist the urge to lick the spoon.
I'm trying.
But you see a horse, actually without its barding, but it's still wearing the bridle.
I was going to say. Yeah.
And it's struggling, trying to get out of the mud.
It's the horse from
I've seen
Never
this
Ending
movie.
Story.
No, not our town. A tear runs down my face. Anyways, how do you guys want to handle it?
Do we see tracks of where it came from? Like direction?
Almost certainly, yes. But first things first.
Okay.
The consistency of mud.
Oh,
Would somebody in the group have any kind of proficiency with, I don't know, life on the farm?
Yeah.
Oh.
I will. I'll try to use an animal handling to try to calm it down.
Charisma plus proficiency, my friend.
All right. So.
And +1 for taking the Game Master suggestion.
20.
Nice. It takes a little effort on your part, but then your hand is resting on this beast's head, and on the bridle, you can see that it's got a name. You can't make it out because of the moonlight, but you will get a chance to look at it once you have better light. The animal is coaxed out of the mud safely, and you guys get a look at this magnificent beast, and this is not a draft horse. This is a destroyer.
Oh, okay.
So
5,000 gold piece war horse.
So my thought
Somebody has
was,
a war horse.
yes, I was thinking maybe seeing they would be terrified seeing a dwarf riding a war horse.
It's like straddling a picnic table, though.
I'm just thinking like a Gimli. It's just Gimli charging into
Does
battle.
prestidigitation get rid of the mud? Can I do that to clean up the mud?
Absolutely. It takes a few moments to do so.
I have to calm him down.
But here's the thing. The horse only lets you get some of it off before the horse actively disengages and tries to pull away to the length of the bridle, and the horse literally goes,
Oh, that way. Oh, okay.
and it's directing you back
Is
along
Timmy
those
stuck
tracks.
in the
The tracks.
well?
Okay.
I'll follow.
Yeah.
I'll,
we'll
I'll,
go.
I'll
Next-
sneak off to the little bit off, like to the left. You know, I'm not directly with the group, but you know, just kind of being careful.
I'm with you.
Because this is
Who
a
knows
big
what you're
horse.
walking into?
Yeah, it's a big war horse.
Who knows, right?
I mean, he's clearly looking for help.
As you walk along, another good 15, 20 minutes takes you guys close to a mile away. Not I mean, from the castle, from the tower entirely, right? And the tracks, every time the horse stops, you actually see the horse look down at whatever's in front of it, and it goes around it, and the horse is actually thinking and reasoning out. This is not an Int 5 animal. This is an animal that has something else going on.
Okay.
So it finally arrives at the edge of a clearing, and everyone amongst you just stops. You're no longer walking single file, and you guys kind of fan out, because the first person to arrive is who?
I was walking with the
Yeah,
horse.
leading the horse.
And the horse stops,
We're kind of flanking
and the
him or
next
something.
person, then everyone kind of fans around, and you guys are looking at the scene playing out in front of you, or played out in front of you. There are two 17-foot-long, blunt-faced, ropey-limbed ogres lying, one of whom head is hanging by the thinnest little thread. The other one has been hacked to pieces, and lying nearby is a campfire that's gone out, barding laid out on a fallen log. This is a knight's campsite, only no knight. But there was clearly a battle here because there's blood
They're- yeah,
everywhere,
they're dead,
and there's
clearly.
a drag mark from that decapitated ogre on the ground, past the fire, towards a rent tree stump right there.
I'll head over there.
I'll pull up my
I
bow.
had to take a guess.
You found the knight.
Aw, really?
He's crawled into the cleft, and he looks very pale.
I'll bet.
He is dead white.
Can I
His
use?
eyes are closed, and his skin has a raisin-like consistency.
He's been there for a while.
Can I use spare the dying? If it,
No, it's a little too far.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
Check how long has the fire
a
been
little
out?
too far
so forth
gone.
and so.
As you attempt to cast a spell, good for you, there's no soul there. It's already gone. But what happens next is what's going to startle you. All of a sudden, there's a surge around him, and his clothing is flapping and rattling. And then there's now a stream of bat wings that erupts out of this cleft and buzzes around in a circle, and 4 flappy wings, a spindly body, barbed covered limbs, and long needle-like proboscises. A thirst of Sturgis surges out,
Yep.
flies around him, and then flies off into the night.
Oh, no.
2 remain behind, ready for the second course.
Great.
And with that, it is 3:54. We have approximately 6 minutes left. We will cliffhang it right here, right now.
We'll be back tomorrow.
And we will, exactly. And now my Fitbit now tells me now's a perfect stopping point.
Yeah.
So, my good friends, guys, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for being on this journey
Thank you for
with me.
DMing.
Yes.
I cannot thank you enough for this. It is so validating to see it all played out in front of me, and you're liking it. You really like it. Okay, guys, so we have potentially some questions. I hope we have some questions.
Yeah.
And I am all ears, my friends. You guys own me for the next 5 to 6 minutes. I'm dying to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I'll go look at chat real quick and see if I can see anything.
Cool.
Plus, Justin has some stuff.
Yeah, I got some.
just leave these here, like.
Hold on to everything, and we'll collect, and we'll deal with collecting tomorrow. Just make sure you don't lose the JOS points or the character sheets. Although if you did, we can always replace them. Yeah, I'm not in charge of the dice. You guys are in charge of those. Oh, I do need the miniatures back. I want to make sure I get those back.
Yes, here we go.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you guys. For those of you who have tuned in, guys, thank you very much for being here. You guys are on the journey. This game was written for you. It's written for me. This is what I want to play. This is what I want to run. And hopefully you guys see some good stuff here. So, hit me.
Yeah, Justin, did you see any questions while we were playing?
No, most
Oh.
of it's been commentary for the most part.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Hopefully it's
And,
positive.
Yeah.
Damn, Joseph talks a lot. That
has
would be
been.
absolutely true. In the 5th
was-
grade, I was voted most talkative.
There was one earlier. I'm trying
Actually,
to
no, I was
find here.
5 years old. It was 1st grade. Oof.
Is a halfling barbarian with a two-handed greatsword viable in DDRPG? I think anything is viable if you want it to be.
Well, John, the answer I would say is it would depend.
Yeah.
Did you hit the halfling with, for example, what is a two-handed sword? All weapons are basically given arbitrary assignments, right? There was technically no such thing as a long sword. They're called broadswords or arming swords. And they were almost universally to be wielded one-handed or two-handed, depending upon how big and how strong the wielder is. So the answer I would say is the halfling would be wielding a long sword two-handed. And that's how you would have your barbarian. You're not dealing the D12, but you are dealing the D10 because a versatile longsword causes D10 damage, right?
Okay.
But also, if you were to hit your halfling with an enlarged spell, dude, you can wield gigantic weapons.
Question for Reaper Wolf. This comes from Greyhawk Online.
Greyhawk, hi.
Greyhawk Christoph is his name.
Hi.
It says, tell us about the Green Griffin 40-page PDF.
You're going to get me into trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what's going on with the Green Griffin. Once upon a time, Ron says, I need a cool tavern. And I said, I like cool taverns.
Agreed.
And so I started writing. And I never stopped.
Let's get 3 of them and put them together.
And so what happened is that before you knew it, I detailed every single barmaid, every single bartender, and went deep down the rabbit hole developing lots of stuff. So what you got is a taste, a little aperitif, a little hors d'oeuvre of what I have already created. And of course, we will make this available to you hopefully fairly soon.
This is from Level 20 Gaming. What is involved in character creation? I heard you choose a background. Are stats the same as D&D?
Absolutely. In answer to your questions, they are the exact ability scores laid out the exact same way, and they function the exact same way because you know what? Familiarity is one of our pillars.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And you know it, right? It works great. Now, I own a lot of other RPGs, but you know what? 6 works great, and it feels old schooly, but it's also new schooly because you know it. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of character creation, yes, there are backgrounds. In actuality, your background consists of 3 elements. Your character's culture, your character's upbringing, and your character's trade, because no one is born a fighter. You come out into the world and you are usually apprenticed to a trade. And the trades can be very specific or very general. Mm-hmm. But your upbringing is like, did you grow up in an urban setting? Did you grow up in a rural setting? Are you a nomad? Are you a barbarian? And as far as your upbringing goes, that's like your social class. Mm-hmm. So are you born like, are you an outlaw, like a wolf head?
Are you a noble?
Are you a noble? Mm-hmm. You know it, man. And none of those give you significant advantages over any others, because if you're a professional outlaw, you're going to be really good at outlawing stuff. And it all feeds into the proficiency system. Those elements combined with class and skill and the stuff that you write on your character sheet becomes your skill list. Mm-hmm. Hence, no skill list.
Yeah.
We don't need one.
Lolth said no initiative. I think yes, there is initiative. I think it's rolled at the beginning of each round. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it changes. And it's, explain the dice to everybody.
Okay, so it all comes down to how difficult a weapon is to wield. Think of characters as either medium or small sized, right? Mm-hmm. So, and weapons all have sizes, mm-hmm. right? Tiny up through huge. So if you're using the same size weapon as yourself, you can wield it in one hand and you get to roll a D8, mm-hmm. right? But if the weapon's smaller than you...
Like a dagger, for
yeah,
instance?
You get to roll a D12 because it's faster. And in general, if you wield a weapon with 2 hands, it also it's not required to be wielded by 2 hands, because certain weapons, like great weapons, always have to be 2-handed. But in which case, you either get a D8 or a D4. If the weapon is held, and like if a halfling picked up a battle axe and wanted to wield it one-handed, he would do so awkwardly and only roll a D4. Mm-hmm. So if you're clumsy, D4. If you're nimble and agile and what I call easy, you get to roll a D12. And if it's average, D8.
Okay.
It's a little fussy, but you know what? It makes weapons more important than just the damage rating. Mm-hmm. And that's really the point of it.
Yeah.
Read your Conan, kids. Weapon choice is important.
Yeah,
So-
I like that system.
So we do have a reveal.
Yeah, we do have a
Are
reveal.
you ready for this big reveal?
I see Reaper Ron's in
man.
chat.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
ready. Oh, man.
Ron's in chat. He's ready to press the button, I think.
Hey, here we go. I'm going to
Okay.
put the graphic up, Ron, so you better get
All
ready.
right. So I'll give a little pretense to this, I guess, as well, while we show this.
Ready?
Yeah. Boom. So this is Legendary Tales. It's called Black Tallow Lighthouse. So I want to talk about this because At the beginning, before the Kickstarter started, and while we were talking about all this stuff, all the Lighthouse memes began, and they started, and they ran. They got legs, so to speak, and they ran. And we kept saying we're not going to do a Lighthouse because we weren't. We were not going to do a Lighthouse. And a little bit ago, probably like a week ago, I think, Justin, is this right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, we got this art.
So Max Dunbar, a fantastic artist, by the way, concept artist. He did a bunch of stuff for us for this Kickstarter. He sent this in, and obviously you guys can see how awesome it is. So this is the Black Tallow Lighthouse. And Ron messaged me a bunch of expletives, all capital expletives, when he showed me this. And he said, well, now we have to do it. This thing is just too badass to not get. I know everybody was expecting like Victorian lighthouse or like a lighthouse with the windows and the light spinning around. But
Well, it all started during the Brinewind stuff because I put the haunted lighthouse
in there.
in Brinewind. Yeah.
That's right. That did add fuel to the fire, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you guys see the slaughter walrus down there at the bottom. This came out as a joke about a few weeks ago when we were teasing out all the different legendary tales. There was one called the something of the slaughter wallers. Is that what it was? What was
Yeah,
it?
it was the piggy guy.
Yeah, the slaughter wallers.
Yeah.
And everybody in chat was like, "What did he say? Did he say slaughter walrus?" And so that's where the meme began.
It's like Wallow, only it's Waller because
Yeah.
they're kind of rednecky, scary mutant pig guys.
Yeah. So I think Max Dunbar ran with it. He just listened to everybody's comments about the slaughter walrus and everybody talking about the lighthouse, and he drew it. And I think, to my knowledge, Ron told me that we didn't tell him to draw this. We didn't tell him. We didn't commission him. We didn't tell him.
He just thought it was cool.
He just thought it was badass and cool, so he drew us a lighthouse with an undead lighthouse keeper and a slaughter walrus.
There's one way to get us to do a mini that we have been saying we won't. It's to have Max
Ron is very
Dunbar
easily manipulated by
submit.
awesome art.
Yeah, awesome
Fact.
art is what
Correct.
did this.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to do a lighthouse up until about a week ago.
And then Ron showed me this picture, and he's like, come up with something cool, and then I just cranked out the text.
There it is.
Which is okay, but that is an amazing piece of art.
So awesome. And I want to be clear that you guys can see at the very top underneath the option amount, it says Kickstarter exclusive. So this is going to be a Kickstarter and Reaper Pledge Manager exclusive. So this will not come to retail after this Kickstarter. This is only a Kickstarter exclusive. We really don't like doing Kickstarter exclusives, but we figured that this would be a good opportunity to offer the lighthouse.
You demanded it.
Yeah.
We gave it to you. Now you got to get it.
Yeah, that's right. So now you got to get the lighthouse. All you naysayers out there, maybe this art turned you. And once we have a 3D render of it, we'll be showing that off as well. And all the lighthouse acolytes and the worshipers of the lighthouse, now you guys can live your dreams. I also want to say that we don't really have a final size of this yet. I believe we're looking at around 6 to 7 inches. So like I said, it's not very tall and it's not very huge. It's not like pirate ship huge, you know what I mean? It's more of like a watchtower or a guard tower or, light the fires of Gondor type of situation.
Yeah, you can see the scale of it. I mean, it's
use the human or the undead skeletal lighthouse keeper there, and it's roughly, Ron, we haven't really decided how tall it's going to be, but we're looking at the 6 to 7 inches tall range. So you could say that it's like a good little watchtower and stuff. So.
And it's got a creepy backstory. Please read it.
Yes, read it. Joseph wrote all of these.
It validates me.
Joseph wrote all of these stories and all these tales and all the things that you overhear at the Green Griffin Tavern. So there you go. And the update should be going out relatively soon, right after this. If it's not up already, I'm sure Ron had it written out and ready to go. But there you go. There's the lighthouse. It's a cool little story. Thank you, Max Dunbar, for making it a reality. And reading the comments and getting everybody's memes. It's just funny that we didn't say, hey, make this. He just did it on his own. So shout out to Max. This is very epic and very cool. Because I wasn't really excited about a lighthouse, I'm like, well, it's whatever. And then we saw the art and I was like, holy moly.
Yeah, Max sent this to us. It changed all of our minds.
Yeah, everybody in the factory was like,
Well,
whoa.
now we got to do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Update is live to the Kickstarter and posted to Facebook. There you go.
Yay.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And I think that's all we have for today. And we'll be back tomorrow playing the rest of this campaign, this little adventure that we're running here.
Part 2's on Friday.
Part 3's on Friday. So we'll be back. Go spread the word of the lighthouse to all the gang, and tell everybody to come watch tomorrow's beta test.
Thanks for everything,
Alpha
guys.
test.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Justin, who are we rating right now?
Let me find us a raid here.
All right. While Justin's rating, we can start to tidy up, and you guys spread the word. Also, if there's any last questions, if you have questions, save them. I'll be putting a thing up on the Discord and probably the forums as well. I know Reaper Wolf will probably like that. Have a little section on the forums and the Discord and stuff for all the feedback and questions.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. And I know we hinted at Barrowgate.
Ooh.
If you guys come to ReaperCon this year, there will be a lot of Barrowgate stuff.
Ask me lots of questions. I like to answer questions about stuff, and Barrowgate is just creepy cool.
Creepy cool. Mm-hmm. I think I heard something about weather vanes at some point.
Ghost veins.
Ghost
to
veins.
Contain all of the haunts. Because every square inch of the town is haunted.
Yeah, I read some lore. I'm digging it. I'm a lore person.
Oh, good.
Is there going to be game playing at the party on Saturday? I think Joe does plan to run some games on Saturday.
I will be running 2-2-hour sessions of something involving this.
Something involving.
It might be off the cuff. It depends on my mood.
Yep. Barrelgate. Yep.
Barrelgate. You know what? If there's a lot of noise, guys, convince me. I'll run some Barrelgate adventures.
Maybe.
I can do that.
But there you go.
Barrelgate?
Barrel. No, it's barrow.
Barrow, as in where you bury people.
dig,
Barrowgate.
Barrowgate. Yeah. So go spread the word of the Slaughter Walrus and the Undead Lighthouse Keeper for the Black Tallow Lighthouse. Congratulations. Right. We made it happen. You made it happen.
I think I have a. We'll raid someone new here. Looks like they're paying.
Perfect. Oh, I saw this question earlier while you're rating, Justin. Is there a mechanic for solo play in this DDRPG system?
Dude, it has been discussed.
It's been discussed.
And that's not me trying to blow you up. It's like, no, I think that is a valid, Tunnels and Trolls made its place by being solo playable. It has been discussed. We are exploring it.
Exploring.
Yep.
There you go.
We're exploring it.
Right.
Because that's a great idea. I totally agree.
Say hi to Liquid Nebula. Looks like they're painting stuff for D&D. So
nice.
Talk to them about the new DDRPG. So, thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you guys.
Thanks, dude.